feels like work. Shooting the shit for 2 hours, drinking beer and talking beer. What a wonderful experience.
Can we not have the barf bucket near my mixing board?
I think everybody could read the book.
I knew you were going to use this book as an excuse to quit doing this show.
Mrs. Bub, if you want, I can mail you the Bub Timer.
Yeah, Newcastle, especially in the can. Have you ever had it in the can?
No, I have not had it in the can.
Notice I closed my eyes and I concentrated really hard.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Session. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy to be here. My studio's not as happy to be here today. Studio's falling apart before my eyes.
That's a new thing.
Much like my life.
Just close your eyes.
Studio.
It's fine.
Does that work?
Yeah.
That sounds like what I do with my life, too. Just bury my head. Just wait for things to go away.
Most of the time they do.
It does work for me, usually. Yeah, I don't know.
Until you close your eyes one last time.
the final close.
You're right.
You know, everyone's
Yeah,
just...
it is such a relief.
The final close?
The final close.
You also can't wait? It's amazing. I knew I liked you, Teresa. Once again, joining us as our newest co-host, Teresa is on the show with us. Thanks for coming down.
Of course.
All the way from Auburn.
My pleasure, yes.
Crooked Lane Brewing Company, of course. And today on the program, we're going to be speaking to Solid Ground Brewing Company from Diamond Springs, California. They brought us some beer in. So we're going to taste with them. If you want to come down to the Hop Grenade, you can. We got their beer on tap here also. And we'll be having a good time with them today. Thanks to our sponsor, More Beer. It's not their fault that our studio's falling apart. They do a great job supporting us. So thanks to them. You can go to morebeer.com and check them out. And thank them for being a longtime sponsor of The Session, keeping us alive here.
Maybe they should get into recording equipment sales.
Right, yeah. So I can just ask for more free shit.
Sure. And then give it away at our anniversary fest.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I don't know, 5 years of this equipment, though. You know, I kind of pieced it together in the beginning anyway, and it's just starting to show its age.
Nothing lasts forever.
That's
Bodies.
Right. Yeah.
Hairlines.
Yeah.
All sorts of things.
You're the only one not starting to show your age, Beardy. I'm sick of you.
Yeah, he is timeless.
Right? Tired of him.
Timeless.
I'm aging underneath the beard.
Right, that's
it's
true.
all going to shit.
Yeah.
Right
under
he's got the waddle.
Oh, yeah.
Like the little thing.
Right.
That hangs down from your chin. Yeah. Whatever you call that thing.
That's why my beard is getting longer. I have to keep hiding it.
Yeah. I like that. Be down to your ankles soon. Hey, just a quick question. Do you plan on going to the Homebrewers Conference this year, Beardy? I think I've asked you this. Probably not, huh?
I don't currently have plans. If you need me to have plans.
I don't know. Bevo and I are trying to figure that out still, but I don't know. It's expensive to go out there this year.
Yeah, it's all the way in Rhode Island.
Yeah. Yeah, like no direct flights and...
Really?
It's going to be a hot mess.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, it's going to be fun. I can't wait for the conference.
I'm actually really excited.
You could drive the bunker directly.
Oh, you know what? I kind of thought about it, actually. The bunker would make it. Well, the engine would make it.
Right. You would have a drivetrain.
That's the name for your motorhome is the bunker?
That's one of her names, yes.
Heap.
When she's behaving well or not?
Well, Maybelline is her real name.
Oh, Maybelline.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or Mabel.
I'm sorry, what?
Maybelline?
Yeah. She told me on the last when I was living in her for a little while.
It's like lipstick on a pig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybelline.
She had finally revealed her true name, her true identity to me, but her brewing network moniker is the Bunker.
Oh. got
love
it.
Maybelline. That's cute.
I know.
If only she was.
Right.
Maybe she's born with it.
But
Maybe she's a piece of crap.
yeah. But she's a strong woman, and she's been holding on. But so I felt like actually Mabel could make it, but I don't know that I could make that whole drive. That's a trek, man.
True.
I've done it before. I've driven from West Coast to the East Coast.
You could make it. It's whether or not you'd make it back, I think.
Yeah, good call. Good call. It would be a nice road trip. I had too much going on. But yeah, gosh, sometimes the location... Although the East Coast listeners are going to listen to me complain right now and tell me to fuck off because
Yeah, when was the last time it was over there?
because they always have to travel really far to go. So it's finally on the East Coast. It was a couple years. Actually, it was in.
It was in Philadelphia.
Actually, shit,
Oh,
it's
and-
been Baltimore, Grand Rapids.
That's the middle of the country.
Was it in Philly? I thought.
We had BNA 8 was in Philly.
Right. So actually, in the last several years, we've had to do all the traveling. Now that I think about it, so fuck you guys.
I think it's been fairly split.
Yeah.
Like we fly there, they fly here. We all have to fly to Middle America somewhere.
Right.
You guys should probably just make it in like Cancun or something, so you can all go someplace nice.
Now you're talking.
Every year.
Yeah, if
But
we all
it should-
could
it
travel.
should- it should be
it's
in
hard
Hawaii.
to haul your homebrew out to Cancun. I can
Yeah.
imagine, but
Yeah.
Should be on
the
a different
limitation.
Hawaiian island every year.
Or Vegas every year.
Oh God, no!
Oh.
You would die.
Wasn't
You
it
would
there once?
100% die.
It was before my time, before all of our time. It was there, and it went much like you think it would go. Apparently, with like people just not showing up. Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about this right now. We're gonna have Gary Glass on the phone in a minute.
Oh, we are.
I might as well just call him right now.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't I? What did you tell him? Like
Why not?
right around now?
I told him around 6:30, but if you want to shoot him a text, I'm sure he'd be available.
I'll just call
I
him.
mean, we already
just
talked
call him.
about all the topics.
I know. Like, so we'll just talk to him about when it's going to be in Vegas again.
Yeah,
Right?
right. Yeah. Listen, Gary, we already decided.
He can give us a rundown on where it's been though the last couple of years.
That's true. If I wasn't so busy trying to fix the studio, I would have had this prepared. Sorry, just give me 1 sec. I'll call the man. Okay, 555 26. Just kidding. All right, let's see if we can get Gary on here. We'll just talk about this. Let's get it done.
Get it ironed out.
Yeah.
Make travel plans.
Poor guy's probably in the middle of dinner. In the history of all of our time with Gary, we've probably never called him early.
No, I'm always sending him texts like, "Sorry, we're gonna be late."
Oh, it's going to be completely unexpected for him. Yeah. See, we're going to. All right, I'll move on and we'll come back because he's a. Wait. Maybe I got him. Oh, no, we got his voicemail. All right. We'll call him back in a few. Anyway, NAC is coming up at the end of June there. Announcements brought to you today by Drake's Brewing Company. I'll do these announcements now. We can talk about what's happening out there. Drake's Brewing Company got their Session Beer Fest coming up on May 25th from 1 to 5. It's down in Jack London Square. You can get tickets. It's actually free to attend, but if you want to drink beer, you got to pay a little bit of money. And all goes to a good cause. It's the Session Beer Fest down in Jack London Square. Go to drinkdrakes.com for more information. It's a great event, and you don't have to get hammered all day. It's nice amount of session beers there.
Or you can.
Or you can.
If you put your mind to it.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to work a little harder than usual.
Yeah. It's the kind of hard work I don't mind. Okay. So, like I said, we are going out to Rhode Island, Providence to be exact, and just after, at the very end, on the last day, is the finale of HomebrewCon. We've got our BNA 14. We're teamed up with More Beer and Melvin Brewing, and I was just on a call with Melvin today talking about all the different beers we're going to be able to get out there, bringing a few West Coast beers with us, which I'm excited about. Yeah, the distributor that we're going to be working with for our event there has a pretty decent list from out here.
It's not. You're not getting special order cakes.
Well, I'm gonna special order. I'm gonna get stuff that the distributor usually can't get.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure that out there, the people from here, like they send their pale ale and their IPA and like whatever. But I'm just gonna call the ones that I know that are on their list and go, hey, in your next shipment, you got to send something even better.
Perfect
for us. So there was a few of them on the. Heretic is on their list. I was surprised to find, so that's great. I'll be able to get something special from Jamil.
Yeah.
Who else did I see on there today? Knee Deep.
Okay.
I saw Mother Earth Brewing on there. None of these are confirmed, by the way. I got to call them myself. But
These are all breweries on a list you read.
well, I was looking at them on the list and then who we've had on the show.
Sure.
So I wanted to have some of those folks out there. Epic is on their list. Some of your friends from Oregon, which I can't remember their name right now. Breakside is on their list.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have you give them a call for me.
I could do that.
Anyway, a few people like that. So we got to have some good beer there. And no JP. JP won't be there.
No. So you're going to have a great time.
He's got baby time.
It's true.
Yeah. So far, it's just me and Bevo, as a matter of fact.
Not even Sam?
It's a party. No, Sam has to earn me some money, so he can't come.
Is that finalized? Like he absolutely can? Or are we still waiting to find that out?
As of right now, we're still kind of waiting.
Right.
But the longer we wait, the more expensive this is going to be, so it's less likely that Sam's going.
Waiting, hoping, and dreaming. I know. I'll always pay extra for Sam, though. He's like my guiding light, you know? He keeps me alive and kills me at the same time.
It's true.
Does not keep you alive. And you two
It's like
together
UV light.
would be absolutely worthless to me.
Especially if it's just him and I.
Man.
I would just be like I'm already angry, but I would be more angry.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to drag me out there.
I know. Just to what? Get
Help
worse
Bevo.
with me and Sam? Okay, yeah.
I mean, yes.
I'm not sure the three of us together are much better.
This conversation is making me angry.
Gee, you wonder why I'm not going.
All right. So I got that going on for you. What else can you do? You can support us by doing your Amazon shopping. That way I can afford to bring Sam out. Just click the Amazon link on our homepage. It's even my microphone's fucking up now.
Really is, right? It was doing fine for, like a month? I didn't notice it on Dr. Homebrew either, but...
Well, it was yours at first.
Well, it was...
Which I seem to have fixed, and now it's mine.
Yeah, but and then both of them were fine for at least a month or two, and then now...
I think it's literally... I think everything's just getting dirty. Like dirty channels that I got to try to clean. I'm just kind of afraid if I do that, the whole board's going to blow up.
Why would it blow up, though? You just spray air, like the compressed air in the johns?
No, once it starts doing this, you got to spray this like alcohol solution in there.
Oh, well, you're good at that.
Not beer.
Yeah, not the beer kind.
Oh.
Not the kind I usually throw in there.
I would think you would just burp and blow into it.
It's going to go on all night. I'm going to slowly get more aggressive.
Slowly.
Well, if you know the end point, just go there now. Save some time. Be pragmatic. Is that the proper word?
No, because I got to finish the show. That's why it's better that it's a progression. I'm fine right now, which is good.
Right.
But it's 2.5 hour show.
Wait, do you hear that?
If I start now,
do you hear
that? It'll just get worse.
You guys hear that?
Fast.
Maybe we should just get the canned air going now, or the canned alcohol.
The canned alcohol.
I don't have any. And we'd have to shut everything down, and you got to let it dry. Fuck it. I just quit.
Show's over.
I think you should let Beardy take care of it, because you guys talked about your mechanic skills and how his are superior to
They are.
most everyone's. Because I know that he's just dying to learn more about
electronics
and
mixing.
Yeah. Changing oil is just like fixing a mixing board, I think.
Yeah. Plus, it'll take him 8 months because he'll have to learn like fucking Newton's law before he ever touches a button. Like Beardy won't. Yeah.
Don't drop a screw.
What is sound?
Yeah. Beardy. That's exactly. Beardy will start with the basics.
Where's the sound plug? If I pull the plug out, I don't want all the sound to come out. So where is that so I can stay away from it?
You could also buy new wires, but he would want to make his own so that he knew that they were done right.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
I need to go to China
can't trust anybody.
Yeah, to mine the earth.
Right. For the elements that we need.
I know where good copper's found.
Yeah.
I'll go get it.
I think
He's going to have a smelter out in the back.
I don't think they like to be called coppers anymore.
No, pigs is usually.
Oh, gosh.
Oppressors.
No.
See what you did.
Yeah. Violent criminals, as I like to call them, but
All right, click the Amazon link on our homepage. It's a great way to help me fix the studio. You can just do your shopping as normal,
Which
and
just came up.
if we get a larger, amount of shoppers this month, then maybe I'll replace something. What else do I need to let you know? Subscribe and join the BN Army. That's another great way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you're entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is worth $100. A chance to win $100 every month. We do that. So that's a great way to support us. And the more you donate, the more chances you have to win. So thanks for all of you who have been in the BN Army for so long, and those of you who have just started. Also, we love you all. Also, hey, just listen to our new shows. We got great new shows. Heads and Tails is somewhere on the list.
Maybe will be a new show.
Next week, I think.
Well, when you're only 9 episodes in or whatever you are,
15.
It's still a new show on the BN. Let's be real. Hop and Brew School is I'm really excited about that show. We're doing getting some great interviews on there. We just released one with hops and sour beer with Vinny Chilurzo, Jay Goodwin, and Charlie Johnson from the Ronin Fermentation Project. So it's a really good one. You can get in iTunes or Google Play Store right now.
Who was running the soundboard for Jay's segment?
For Jay's segment.
So
it wasn't Scott.
It's a sour hour joke.
Oh, but it wasn't a sour hour, though. I see.
Jay,
I didn't.
I feel like Jay can't go anywhere on the radio on this network without a soundboard.
Right. There were no sound effects played.
I won't listen.
From my soundboard.
I refuse to. Maybe that's the problem. You ever thought about that?
That my soundboard's not happy that I don't play sound effects.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the soundboard infecting the channels.
No, because I feel like it usually breaks first on the sour hour, and then they tell me to come fix it.
Maybe that's the problem.
It's the opposite.
The soundboard is revolting.
Yeah,
too many sounds.
Something. All right, what else do I have? Go to Twitter, Facebook, and fucking Instagram. I don't care what you do. Send your feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. We love to hear from you, and you can write us things that we'll read on the air. Maybe we'll even answer your questions.
Maybe.
Sometimes we don't, though. Sometimes I just ponder things on the air and never really reach a conclusion, like I think I did last week during our entire feedback segment. All right. Well, do we have a Twitter game today?
Sure. I don't know who you're asking, but yeah.
Who's ready?
I have one typed out.
There you go. Warren wins. Okay. Warner's already typed it out.
So you didn't have one ready?
No, I have one. I just haven't typed it out.
If we're keeping score, it's definitely Warren's turn. So.
Oh, right, because last week was Jason's.
Okay.
What, have we taken turns now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Just so long as nobody asked me to write a Twitter game.
Do you feel like that Beardy's stealing your Twitter thunder by participating?
No, there's no thunder. If I don't have to put the effort in to do the thing, I'd rather know.
Well, then we have to know the exact moment you're going to arrive at the studio.
That's true. I can tell you.
Because I can plan for that if you can plan for that.
Oh, yeah. No, I can tell you when I leave. Because I used to tell you when I leave, and you're like, I don't care. Just get here whenever you get here. And so...
Oh, I would always just say no worries. But you never used to show up after 6, really. And if it was, it would be like, oh, I better get the Twitter game going. But now... It's after 6 so I need to know.
After 6. All right. Hey,
I mean, because I got to plan for the segment.
Warren can just do the whole thing. I don't really give a shit.
Nobody needs that.
I'm not like super invested in it. I mean, you can't know beauty without knowing ugliness. So I feel like it's time for some ugliness.
All right. Just fuck off. All right. Jesus Christ. Just do the fucking thing and shut up about it. Twitter game is brought to you today by the 21st Amendment, who has their Kickoff to Summer event Friday, May 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. It's happening at both the San Francisco Pub and the San Leandro Tap Room. You can join 21st Amendment as their annual Kickoff to Summer is dropping watermelons off the roof, setting up beer cans as pins for watermelon bowling, and raising their hands to sunny skies and ice-cold beer. It's all happening Friday, May 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. You can go to 21st-amendment.com and check out more details for yourself. What's our Twitter game? Beardy.
Okay. Well, Justin, I know that you consider me one of your more tech-savvy friends.
Okay.
And so I just read about something on the internet called doxing.
I feel like I learned about this from JP, as a matter of fact, but okay.
I'm like,
it's 2007 right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
What is it again?
Doxing.
I know, but what is it again?
It's when people scour the internet to find out personal information, or at least unfavorable information about somebody to like invalidate them as a journalist or ruin their career as a politician.
No.
What do you think it is?
Doxing.
I don't remember being that.
It's when you release your personal information. So like if you're online as like Dick Swinger 420 on Twitter and you were saying a bunch of racist bullshit, then you can figure it out and go, oh, that's actually Justin Crosley and here's his address and phone number. You got doxed, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds close enough to me.
All right. Well, imagine my definition was what was actually happening.
Wait, what was yours again?
people trying to invalidate or like discredit somebody.
Oh, I feel like, same
scouring
thing.
the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
To find information about them.
Yeah.
Or to release information about them.
Call it soxing.
Same.
Yeah. So I want to get out ahead of it, and I would want Twitter to find out what we need to what's out there that we need to worry about threatening our journalistic integrity.
The entire 14 years.
There's
mostly
a lot
my
of
dumb
material.
bullshit. Yeah, mostly JP. There you go.
Well, I don't know, man. I think about that sometimes, and I try not to.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, I am born.
Yeah. I can remember things I've said that I'm just like, oh, God, what were you thinking?
Yes. Like my entire O.J. Simpson fucking thing, and like
that was great.
Downtown Nap. No, that was terrible. But everyone let me get away with it. It's just shit like that. I'm the same. I'm the exact same. Where you're like, what did I do? Who am I?
But maybe no one was
the
listening.
sheer volume of material kind of helps you because
Right.
then like you can't really pin down any one thing. It's just like.
But you would think like James Gunn, the guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, the director.
Right.
Then they found his 10-year-old tweets.
Right.
And he got fired.
See,
by Disney. I mean, he got hired again, but you know.
But then you have major examples on the other side of the coin too, like the president of the United States of fucking America, for example, who has like I don't know how many years of Howard Stern interviews that were bad enough.
Right.
Then TV interviews that are literally sexual harassment in like by definition.
Yeah,
right. I mean, you name it. If we're going to talk about things that could discredit a person and potentially block them from succeeding, we're actually kind of low on the totem pole.
True.
Believe it or not.
100%. Well, because we're not millionaires.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the factor where you can either make it go away, because that's what he did with a lot of harassment lawsuits, is pay people off.
Yeah.
It's a history of paying people off. So,
well, maybe so, but now we know about them again.
Yeah. No one cares.
And no one cares.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Because we're all too mentally ill.
No one gives a shit.
No.
Okay, so I guess
So
you
we're
just
safe.
need to take on a conservative political stance that's kind of radically out there, and then maybe all this stuff will just roll off.
We'll just go away.
Yeah, Pizzagate. Let's go. I mean,
Yeah.
Lolita Express and Pizzagate. I believe everything. Jeffrey Epstein is my Lord and Savior, and let's go.
And then we'll be fine.
It's a volume thing. There's so much going out about him. People just stop paying attention to it. If it was just one thing people could focus on.
I see. Okay.
So we just need to do more.
That's kind of what I was thinking about, is like there's just a lot there, you know?
Right.
Like you're going to pick on this one thing, but there's
Wow, do you hear
there's
Teresa?
like a million things you can pick on.
She's a Trump apologist. Did
know.
you just hear that right now?
Absolutely not. I'm a
Does she adjust her
Justin
red
JP
hat?
apologist.
Yeah.
That says Maja on it, right?
Yeah. I love Mahjong, dude. That game is fucking fun as hell.
It's a good thing the cameras are barely working today. You can't see Teresa's MAGA hat.
Is this hat red or blue?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like this game. So
make IPA hoppy again.
So find out stuff for us that we should know ahead of time.
Right. We just want to know.
And I'd rather it be fake, for example. Just make shit up.
Add to our anxiety.
I don't want to know the real stuff. Don't send in don't go scouring the archives for the next 2 hours.
Right. Oh no! Here is the timestamp.
Yeah.
For everything you should kill yourself over.
I do not need that. Okay. Let's do a little feedback, shall we?
Yep.
Feedback's brought to you today by the Beer Law Center. You can go to beerlawcenter.com. And our good friend John, who takes care of my trademark, can do the same thing for you. Also help you with your brewery filings, TTB stuff. He's a great guy, and he's good at what he does. And I was on the phone with him again today.
Nice.
Working on
That
some
thing
other,
I sent you?
working on some other bullshit. No, that one's hopefully easy.
Yeah.
Usually that stuff is when some fuck just is like selling shirts.
Yeah.
But yeah, every now and then it gets tricky. This one's tricky. We got a tricky one right now.
Uh-oh.
The whole thing.
I don't like tricky.
No.
Unless it's rocking a rhyme and it's right on time.
Do you
That's
guys-
tricky.
Do you guys have to do cease and desist letters sometimes?
All the time.
Really?
I tend to not start with that. I mean, I start with a polite version of that. I guess it's still a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
And then if it gets, usually I can handle it like that. Especially if it's just a person like peddling T-shirts or something.
Yeah.
Every now and then when a brewery thinks that they invented the hop grenade, it gets a little further. And right now, so anyway, that happens a lot. Like every 2 months,
Wow.
I have to send something to somebody. And usually, you know, John's really great at the Beer Law Center because he advises me really well. And the way him and I work together is he kind of stays out of it until he has to. Like, he gives me advice. I'll send him whichever new one is up, or he finds it sometimes. It gives me some good advice of how to just try to keep lawyers out of it. And almost every time that works. He gives good advice, and we have a good rapport, and that will work. And then, if it doesn't, then he gets involved, and he has a great track record.
Yeah.
This one I'm dealing with right now is tricky. And it has to do with both the name, the Hop Grenade, and the logo, the Hop Grenade. And I shouldn't say much about it anymore because this one's tricky. But John is doing a great job, and hopefully we'll get this one taken care of too.
I thought you were okay with me opening up the second location. Third.
Yeah.
You told me that in your sleep that one time when we were camping.
Oh yeah, you signed a piece of paper.
This one is someone who thinks I'm the violator.
Oh
my stars!
You feel like that should be easy.
Wow.
How is that tricky?
I know.
We have 14 years, or no, 10, 11?
It's a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So that one.
Man.
Yeah.
Just for all those people who wanted to be Justin, think again.
It blows most of the time. But John can help you. Go to beerlawcenter.com. All right, we just got a little bit in feedback today.
Yeah, not much.
Long email from Chris, also known as Silky Pants, apparently.
Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe his name is Silky Pants, also known as Chris.
Right. This is nice things about us. He says, I've been a long-time listener of all the shows on the BN, and I want to say thanks for the hookup with Swan Brewing. Of course, that was Crotch Rot, our old listener just on recently. He says, I travel for work and listen to all your shows while I stare at the roads in BFE, Florida. I was driving to Lakeland, Florida, and just by chance, you had them on the session that same day. So I decided to head over there to check things out. The place is awesome. I saw the post office across the street and tried to scope out all the rowdy post office workers while sipping on straight out of Lakeland IPA. It was delicious. I asked the bartender if Crotch Rot was there. You should have seen the look on his face, he says. I had to clarify who I was referring to, and lo and behold, Christian was there on site, and I was grateful that he took time to talk to me for about 45 minutes. Yeah, that guy never shuts up sometimes. He says, it's a great place to chill, and since I travel to that city a few times a month, I know where I'll be hanging out. I also wanted to thank JP for introducing me to the Pico Brew Zymatic.
Hey, you're welcome, baby.
It has really changed my finished product, and I couldn't be happier with it. For the record, I got divorced and bought myself this as a reward for dealing with all the BS the last couple of years. Good for you. He says, not only did I upgrade my rig, I also have controlled temp fermentation and a 3-tap keg system. The best thing about the Pico Brew is that I can repeat any beer without worrying, and I will focus on recipes. If the finished product sucks, well, I suck then. And lastly, I owe a lot of my brewing education to all of you, so I decided to finally become a member of the BN Army and donate $20 a month.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. He says,
well done, Silky Pants.
Seriously, he says, I think I'm a sergeant or something, but who cares? You guys are great. Thanks from Silky Pants. Well, thank you, Silky Pants. Get yourself some new silk pants while you're at it.
Treat yourself.
You treat yourself. You deserve it.
That's right. You try to get grease stains out of silk, dude? Come on.
Yeah. All right. Before the break, should we try? You want to try Gary again real quick?
Yes.
Let's see if we can get a hold of him. No, I don't want to block him. I want to call him. Did you text him at all? Probably not. That would be producing.
No, I don't have his direct line. I can't text him.
Okay.
I have his work phone number.
Damn, bro. Got her.
Damn it. All right. We'll see. We can just listen to the Skype tone. Fuck it.
I love it.
More entertaining than I am.
Well, they haven't changed it in all that time.
Mr. Gary Glass.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're on the air already.
Sexy voice.
Yeah.
Oh.
He is getting sexy. I know. He's used to waiting. I called you early, and I was like, he's not going to answer because in the history of our entire relationship, we've never been early. So I knew you wouldn't answer.
Entirely true.
Yeah. Welcome, Gary Glass. It's nice to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you.
Well, I started off the show really early talking about Providence and me and Bevo flying all the way out there and all of this, and it just started to spark a bunch of discussion about HomebrewCon, of course. So I thought I'd get you on then, but that's okay. We're going to revamp the discussion now. And I want to ask you, because we were trying to figure out, like, do I have to fly to the East Coast more, or does the East Coast have to fly to the West Coast, to me more? And I was thinking you guys have it pretty damn even recently. What do you think?
Yeah. We've been trying to keep it pretty well spaced out, be somewhere on the East Coast, and then somewhere in the middle of the country, and then West Coast. So we were in Portland, Oregon last year. So now we're in Providence, New England.
Right.
Or Rhode Island. Yeah.
Right.
But it's the first time in New England since 1991.
Really? Where was it then?
It was in Manchester, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay. Got it. Yeah, so I'm originally from Connecticut, and I still don't go back there that often, but I do love some New England.
Yeah. So you got an excuse to go visit some relatives.
Well, let's not go overboard.
Do they listen to the show, or am I putting you in the?
No, they don't.
Spot here?
They don't, but they're a pain in the ass. I'll tell you that right now. A couple of them are real ghetto too, and I know they're going to want to come to the anniversary party we always have, and I'm trying to avoid that.
Flip flops. Hey, yo, this is the party.
They're a little ghetto. But my dad,
sounds like fun.
Yeah, they're kind of fun. My dad though was not ghetto, and he used to take me to Providence when I was a kid. It's a cool place to go. Like, he used to take me for lobster and all kinds of good stuff out there.
It really is a cool place, and I'm excited. I've actually been there 3 times, but I've never been there for more than 24 hours. So I'm really excited to be there for a week.
Yeah, you should be. It's such a cool place, and you picked a good time of year to do it, obviously. Well, I know that thing's always in June, but and hey, did I see something about, are you still doing early bird tickets to HomebrewCon?
The early bird pricing ended last week.
It did? I thought I saw some random email about extending it. Maybe it was a random email that said, hurry up and do it now.
We did extend it for a day because our email service hosed us, and we couldn't get the message out to last chance to register at early registration pricing.
Got it.
But the price change is only $35, so
it's not
really
bad.
not that big a deal.
No, and I did warn everybody last week
worth
too.
It. It's still underpriced, $290 for a full conference registration.
Yeah, that's a killer deal. I warned everybody last week too, so it's their fault. But yeah, $35 more bucks. That's nothing. That's fine. I'm gonna spend that in beer somewhere, probably at my party. Okay, so tell me, what are you most excited about besides getting to hang out in Rhode Island this year?
I'm excited about the lineup of speakers we've got. We've got 68 educational sessions going on this year, and it's just a really killer lineup of a wide range of different topics, covering a whole bunch of stuff. I have a master's degree in history, and so I'm kind of excited that we've got like 5 different historical talks.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah. Ron Pattinson is coming. He's going to tell us everything that we think about Scottish ale is wrong.
What about Barclay Perkins? Was his blog?
Shut up about Barclay.
There you go. Yeah. First of all, rude.
Well, there's that. Yeah, but the guy knows his shit, man.
Yeah.
That's great. Also, the East Coast. I mean, New England's a perfect place for a bunch of historical content too, isn't it? So that's nice.
We have the beer historian from the Smithsonian is giving a presentation.
Wow.
Teresa McCullough. She's
great.
awesome. She did a when we were doing online present called Zymergy Live. She did a presentation. It was killer. Super cool stuff that I had no idea about. So
that's very cool.
But then there's tons of stuff about actually brewing beer and some. I'm really excited about this presentation on diastaticus.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not excited about that.
I don't even know what it is.
But I'm sure that our homebrew nerd listeners are super excited about that. Yeah. Does it hurt?
It's one of those bacteria or yeast that if you get in the brewery, it can persist, and it's really like dries out all your beer. It's like something that professional brewers worry about getting mixed in with their yeast.
You want me to go record this one for you, Teresa?
Yeah, I would love for you guys to record all these and post them online.
I think Gary does. Don't you guys record them now and post them?
I do. Yes, we record all of them.
With your Homebrewers
make them available
Association.
to members of the American Homebrewers Association after the
Excellent.
conference.
I'm still an AHA member, so I can,
there we
tap
go.
into that.
You got it. Yeah, check out our website. We've got like hundreds of presentations from. We don't have one on diastaticus yet, but we will.
But you're about to, yeah. That's very nice. I read too that you guys are, because not everybody is in love with the award ceremony like I am, that you guys are going to run seminars this year. So people can go watch my broadcast later if they don't want to go hang out at the award ceremony and still get some education on Saturday.
That's true, and we actually have done that the last 2 years.
Oh, okay.
We had simultaneously had just a couple of seminars going on. I was impressed with the attendance of the award ceremony this past year, though.
Me too. Yeah,
it was great. I mean, you're getting to see like the best brewers in the world take medals. There's more entries in the National Homebrew Competition than any other beer competition anywhere.
Wow. I didn't know that. So you're saying there's more than at GABF?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, we had over 9,000 entries this year. We had to overtake GABF this year.
Okay.
Great American Beer Festival actually had more entries than we had earlier in the year for National Homebrew Competition, but now we've got more entries than them.
Do you have all the same categories and like similar
we
things?
We use the BJSP style guidelines, and Great American Beer Festival uses the Brewers Association guidelines.
Okay.
And now that you guys are charging as much as GABF entries, you guys must be rolling in the cash.
Oh gosh.
Can you imagine those poor homebrewers?
$16 for an entry is not that much.
They would revolt.
I agree.
Yeah. Do you know how much it is to enter GABF? It's you probably don't want to know.
Yeah, don't even say it. I don't want to know. Don't even say it.
It's gonna make all of us sad.
Yeah,
it's
$16 for all the work that these folks have to do to judge that beer.
Well, there's a cap,
I feel
right?
like you guys are undercharging.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it's true.
Totally. We put on 13 regional judge centers plus the final round, which is taking place in a convention center, which is not cheap.
Right.
So we try and keep it as affordable as possible.
I know you do.
This was actually we raised the price by $2 this year. You know, it's the first time in 10 years that we've actually raised the price for the competition.
See,
and we had more entrants than we've ever had.
Oh, you should have raised it by $4.
There's always next year.
You're quite the capitalist.
I know. That's why I'm not on the board anymore, Gary. Or it's why I should be.
You chose not to run. That's why you aren't on the board anymore.
I know. I did you a favor. Trust me. Things have only gone downhill since then. Well, I'm excited. Everyone, of course, you can go to HomebrewCon.org and get all the information that you need. There's hotel information on there. You can get your tickets. The speakers are up there. You can even go to a page that shows the external events where you'll find our BNA 14 party that's happening on Saturday and lots of other things that are going on around town. Because it's not just the conference. Although folks like me spend most of the time at the conference, it's just a lot of fun. You've got a social event happening every single night. It's kind of pointless to leave until Saturday, which you guys have changed that format in recent years so that people could spend Saturday afternoon and evening around town, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we used to do the awards dinner that night, but we'd only have about a third of the attendees coming to that. So we really wanted to finish off the event with something that everybody could attend. So we call it the knockout party, and we'll have beer and we have food that's curated by the Brewers Association's head chef, Adam Dooley. It's always fabulous.
Very nice.
But it's a great time. We give away a bunch of stuff. We give away tickets to Great American Beer Festival as well as to next year's HomebrewCon.
Yeah, I like the format now. I like the knockout party format. It's just a little more casual, and you get to go kind of party. You put a bunch of the homebrew out that was in the competition.
Yeah.
You get to kind of taste beer, see everybody for the last time, and then go to the Brewing Network party. Basically.
Yeah, and then
it's super fun and
get drunk and try to knock
Matt
each other
Bowling's
out.
on stage instead of me.
Oh, that's right. Your stage work is done at that point. Yeah, I like it. All right, folks. Well, go to HomebrewCon.org. Get your tickets before they sell out. Get your hotel rooms. That's always the first thing I go grab
for sure.
is a hotel room.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. Although Providence is a pretty small place, you'll be close no matter what. And it'll be a good time, right?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The hotels are all right around in the downtown area, right around the convention center. Unlike last year, so easy walking distance, and then being right downtown Providence. There's a whole bunch of breweries, beer bars, and really excellent restaurants.
Okay, great. Yeah, great seafood if you're into that sort of thing.
I love seeing food.
All right, Gary Glass. Well, let us know how we can help, and I'm looking forward to seeing you out there in June.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Although I miss seeing you at the Hop Grenade in Colorado. You know, we don't touch base enough, you and me.
I stopped by and you weren't there yet.
Oh, you're kidding!
Oh,
and I wasn't.
Nope.
I wasn't there yet. What'd you do? Go on the way?
No.
Or you finished
your bouncer dude wouldn't let me in.
Oh my God! You're kidding me right now. This did not happen.
Well, you had a special event going on. I just wanted a beer and some lunch.
And they wouldn't let you in? Did you say, do you know who I am?
No, I don't pull that card.
And you asked for me and I wasn't there?
I did. You weren't there, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. That sucks. I didn't know that. You should have texted me. I was probably just out in the back trying to avoid work or something.
Yeah, I know, but I was just really hungry. And like, well, I'm not getting food here, so.
Okay, well, that's true. Yeah, we did have that special event. Well, wait, can I tell everybody what you were doing that morning?
Sure.
Didn't you go to take another level of your BJCP exam?
Yeah, I was retaking the tasting exam in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Okay.
Which is between Longmont, Colorado, where I live, and Fort Collins, where the Hop Grenade is. So, seemed convenient.
Yeah.
But you weren't there.
Wait, and so if you're taking, are you BJCP certified already?
Yes.
Okay, so what does retaking...
I took the exam back in 2006.
I thought so, okay.
I've been avoiding retaking it ever since.
Oh, it's like it's like a refresher course.
Yeah, why do you have to retake it?
Well, I'm trying to get up to the next level.
Okay.
In my ranking.
That's what I thought. That's what I figured you were doing. Okay. How do you think it went?
At first I thought I did pretty well, but then now I'm second guessing myself.
Oh no. Don't do that. You probably did fine. You probably did. Have you been practicing?
Oh, I judged it a lot. Yeah, and I have been practicing. Actually, I was studying up on the style guidelines for weeks.
Right.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I'm sure. I don't know. I've never done it.
But it's a lot of work.
As much as I dislike taking that exam, and actually the tasting exam is really pretty. That's not that painful.
Okay.
The written exam is really hard.
Yes.
But the BJSP is a great organization, and I totally support what they do. And
of course.
They harass the upper management people harass me every time they see me about my rank.
So you're just trying to get them off your back.
I heard they're raising the fees $2 though.
It's not enough.
You don't get any credit for putting on this giant homebrews event. Just be like, hey,
you can't just walk in there.
I think I've got it covered, man. I'm like, I did my part.
Honorary.
I feel like I should, but
I'm an honorary Grandmaster 10.
I mean, let's be real. That's a fair question. Like, there should be an honorary level. And not even a worthless one, like one that goes, the guys around beer, talking beer, working beer, tasting beer, every day, all day.
It's like they do that for celebrities at universities. They give them a
an
honorary doctorate.
And those celebrities aren't even as handsome as Gary Glass. So
just off that, do you know who I am?
Well, who do we need to talk to about this?
Yeah.
Maybe we should start a petition.
I think, I'll take care of this for you, Gary. You don't worry. I'm going to start a campaign. I'll be your campaign manager. Things are going to go great.
I'm excited. This is great.
You'll drown in scandal.
yeah.
You're like, that Gary guy is great, but did you see this about his campaign?
Oh yeah, there'll be a report. Okay, it'll get ugly. All right, Gary, it's always great to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you soon, brother.
Yeah, great to talk to you too, and looking forward to seeing you in Providence.
Yes, sir. HomebrewCon.org, everybody. Go get your tickets. We'll see you there. Thanks, Gary. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
All right, there you go.
Great talking to you, Gary. Yeah, you too.
Gary,
I know somebody. I know, but like sometimes people should go. Yeah, he's like reading something or like making tea and just got kind of distracted. It was a distracted voice more than anything. But,
right.
Yeah.
He's
probably checking his email. Is there anybody else who registered?
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got the boys from Solid Ground Brewing Company on the program with us, so hang in there. It's the session. We'll be right back.
to prison. You're the reason I'm going mad. You're mine, only mine. You're mine, only mine.
This is Wayne Wumbles from Cigar City Brewing, and you're listening to the session on the Brewing Network.
When I was
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Thanks to Gary Glass from the American Homebrewers Association. You can sign up for your membership on thebrewingnetwork.com. Just click the AHA link if you haven't done so already. We get a little cut of the action, and you get an awesome membership. And then you can go buy your tickets to HomebrewCon. Go to hombrewcon.org. All right, as promised, we've got Solid Ground Brewing in the studio with us from Diamond Springs, California. We're joined by Scott Johnson and Casey Sare. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Where is Diamond Springs?
Middle nowhere.
Is it like Sacramento-ish?
So we're Placerville. So beautiful Placerville, California. So we're about, we're 50 minutes. An hour, from Tahoe.
Okay.
Right next to Placerville. So we are 5 minutes from Placerville, downtown proper. So we are.
So it's right like Sierra Foothills.
We're Sierra Foothills off the 50, right off the 50. So, so we're 5 minutes off the 50.
Yeah, at Sac Beer Week, we say that we're Sacramento. But when it's not Sac Beer Week, we're Foothill Yokel.
Convenient.
Good call. Good call. Yeah.
I like that.
Everybody's from SF during SF Beer Week, too, aren't they? So it's the same difference. You guys lived there for a while, and that's why you chose it, or was it kind of a destination?
A little bit of well, we're both Auburn boys, more or less. So we're Foothill boys.
Gotcha.
I mean, for me,
Foothill boys.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time, out of state and overseas, and they always say you can't come home, but we went home.
Okay.
And then I've got kids in the area, and I was doing a whole different career at the time. So when
we mean by kids in the area, they're just like running around right now.
I don't know their names or where they live, but
I've heard about them.
Yeah. I figure they'll find me when they're ready.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much, the nature of the game, man. We just we got a little bit lazy in the sense that we wanted to buffer ourselves a little bit from the market correction in the future.
We wanted a good brewery near us.
Yeah, and one that we could actually own.
And wait, define that just a little bit more, too. I see where you're going. When you say you're a little insulated from the market correction, in other words, being like a local brewery.
Well, yeah, everybody says local's, the thing, right? And beer's no different. It's pretty much the quintessential local, right, is beer.
So we built a regional brewery as a local brewery, though.
Is it a big brewery that you built?
It's a 30-barrel brew house. And it's big, man. It's a 9,000 square foot building, barrel room, and the whole 9 yards, man. And then you look around, and there's an Ace Hardware. Well, it was an old Ace Hardware.
Okay.
But next door is like an old, kind of gold rush era hotel.
Nice.
And across the street's an old dude that yells at us when we, have garbage going into his front lawn, man. Like it's not. It's a production brewery. But it's just not in your traditional locale.
But so I get that then. But obviously, the market for your beer is farther than. We have it here at the Hop Grenade, which is
we get down to San Jose. We have three full-time salespeople and a delivery driver. So we're self-distributed. We have a little bit of distribution too. So we're doing the whole thing.
Wow.
So
you're self-distributing down to San Jose?
Yeah, we're masochists.
Wow, you are. No kidding. How long you guys been open?
2 years now. So our second year anniversary is on the 1st.
You didn't give that shit up yet? Someone's still driving that truck?
Yeah.
To San Jose.
I was doing it for a while.
Were you?
Yeah, for the first year.
Okay, so someone gave it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, self-distribution, though, we were just talking to a brewer recently about that. It's a great model, but that's a track. So.
That's a timeline, I feel like, too. It's a good model, but there's a finite amount of time that can even.
Well, it's just like anything else,
happen,
man.
Right?
It's like if you want to, put a pool in the backyard, you can pay somebody, or you can dig the damn thing yourself, right?
Right.
Like, digging it yourself sucks.
Yes, it does.
But with the distribution model, you save 30%, but then you got delivery vehicles, delivery drivers,
maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance, man. Yeah, the first time we went to take our little Sprinter out, man, and we overheated the damn thing like 4 times.
Because you overfilled it?
Oh, I don't know what the hell the problem was, but we still sent the guy on the road.
Turns out you need coolant.
Yeah.
And so we learned that lesson, and everything's fine.
The guy figured it out.
It's good, though. We pick and choose down here, so we kind of piecemeal it. And I think we don't want to go too crazy down here. It's more just targeting the key accounts and doing it monthly. And it works really well.
Great.
It actually works better than trying to be a big presence. But
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And Casey, so you're the head brewer, yeah?
Yeah.
And you got quite a bit of brewing education. Where'd you go to school?
So I went to Harriet Watt. So basically,
gross.
Yeah. Well, Harriet Watt, if you don't know it, it's right. It's the only brewing school really that's a full credentialed university where you get a full 4 or 5 year degree that speaks English. So that was pretty much the factor.
Where is it?
Right? So it's in Scotland. It's in Edinburgh.
All right.
So it's
almost English then.
Yeah, it's brewing and distilling science, right? So it's real heavy on Scotch whiskey. And my first internships were all Scotch producers.
Okay.
But Charlie Bamforth, out of Davis, obviously had a big influence on the university at the time. Him and Graham Stewart, who ran the program, were besties.
Nice.
They did all the geeked out on their goalies.
The
English Premier League goalie.
Yeah.
Charlie does.
He's crazy about it.
Yeah, and then but pretty much I had a couple choices, right? You go to Davis, and at the time this was, I graduated probably 20 years ago.
Okay.
Now, out of the program, so. You could go to Davis, which wasn't as established as it is now. You could go to Weinstefan, which you had to speak German. You could go to Berlin. You could go to Siebel, but the short courses. But I just didn't really want to compete with the Davis guys, and I needed a full degree because I needed to be able to transition into other industries if we had to.
Okay.
So my wife, was kind enough to work retail in Edinburgh. While I pretty much drank and brewed at the university and played PlayStation and studied all that crap. Right. The quintessential student, in a brewing school.
Yeah.
Right? It's even worse when you're in a brewing school.
I would imagine.
Sounds amazing.
It does sound amazing, but hard to go to class.
Yeah, real hard. Luckily, like I said, that program, was it was well established. It was a high tier program, and it allowed me to get my first brewing job. Post degree was Budweiser, and I couldn't have had that job had I not gone to that university program. So we have guys all the time that come in to intern with us, and they always want to go do these short courses and spend 10, 20, 30 grand on brewing programs. And it's for me it made sense because I was going big boy, right? I went to Budweiser, left Budweiser, went to work for Dan at Gordon Biersch right afterwards when I got tired of being the American all the time.
Okay.
In the UK, and came back and it was, again, that same degree got me the job at Gordon Biersch because Dan, obviously being from Weinstefan, valued that kind of degree.
So when you say big brewery, you're just talking about like more of a production-focused, high quality consistencies, everything. That was your resume at that point.
Oh, 100%. Budweiser, to be fair, as a brewer, the majority of the work I did was sit behind a desk and stare at a computer.
Okay.
And there was 3 of us, and we all took turns napping.
Wow.
Literally napping.
Yeah.
You didn't need 3 people recording all the data off the computer. So 2 guys would put their feet up and go to sleep, and the other guy would, track and load up hops.
Wow.
So it was a large brew house.
Where was this Budweiser at?
This was in London.
In London, okay.
Yeah, so which is now apartment buildings. They've since
That's cool.
Sold out. Man.
I want to live there.
Yeah, one it was all British Union dudes too, which was really fun because they were all they'd just been bought out by Budweiser. They were all union, and so you got these big burly dudes carrying stuff around like big 50 to 80 pound pipes back and forth across the building, doing nothing.
Wow.
Right, they're just walking back
looking
and forth,
busy.
Man, 'cause they look busy.
Oh my gosh.
But at the end of the day, man, that's we've taken a lot of those lessons from Budweiser and we incorporate them at our place.
Sure.
Right? Same with Dan. Gordon Biersch learned probably more about brewing per se than I did at university or at Budweiser.
I bet.
Budweiser was great about lab work and consistency and hitting numbers, but you did one thing, you were in the brew house.
He's still obsessed about hitting numbers though.
Yeah.
You still get to take naps?
Got to hammer it into him.
On the brew naps, man.
Yeah.
But I would get those phone calls asking how long it took to grain out the lauter tun because they needed to save 30 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
Per brew, because at the end of a year, those 30 seconds had a dollar value.
Yeah.
The bonuses for the management was based on that lost time of brewing production. We had a 2-hour clock that counted down. Every 2 hours it mashed in whether you were ready or not, unless you stopped it.
Wow.
If you stopped it, and once you stopped it, you had to log why you stopped it, and that came off the bonus program. So,
ouch. I never thought of that, but you're right. 30 seconds at a time, all day, every day.
12 brews a day.
That matters. Okay.
Yeah, so.
But Dan was a little more, let's talk about the beer focused, because his is a pretty automated brewery too, but nothing like that.
It is, but at Gordon Biersch, though, as a brewer, you brewed it was all the wort production. It was all the cellar work, all the transferring tanks, filtration, packaging, getting the pasteurizer ready to go, getting the bottling line set up. You did every single part of the job.
Okay, got it.
Whereas the Budweiser, again, you're very compartmentalized.
Yep. Okay.
So, but they all had value.
Yeah.
And again, the same thing at our place. On a limited budget, we do the best we can to imply or to take all those principles and apply them to what we're doing.
Okay.
It doesn't always work, but
well, let's talk about that before we got your hef in our glass that I want to try right now. But first, just quickly, I love Dan. I don't think I could ever fucking work for the guy. Like, how was that?
Well, I was back in the kind of the glory period, right?
Okay.
Like the time when like it was fun.
Okay.
Back before all the stress of was getting to him, man. It was fun.
Yeah.
There's nobody better at German brewing than Dan.
I
Love or
agree.
hate the Gordon Beer Spears at times. The guy's got an IQ of like 170.
Yeah.
He's a very good, brewer.
And a great guy. That's why I say I really do like him. He's a great guy. I don't think I'm anal enough to work for him.
Well, his office was on the other side of the building, man. So
there we go.
Really
Yeah.
see him that often.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Well, in our glass, we have your Hefeweizen. Do you just call it your Hefeweizen, or does it have like a fancy name?
Weizen or Weizen.
They're cloudy.
Just
They're
your Weizen.
hazy.
Everything's
Weizen.
named
They're
after
hazy.
ground. Everything's named after ground-based things. So
Okay.
makes naming things a little easier that way.
All right, I got you.
This is what is it?
The dirty Hefeweizen.
Well, yeah, the term Weizen isn't like Weisen, right? Is kind of the originating area of Hefeweizen. So it sounds like Weizen with a Z, but it's with an S.
So it's a W.
I see.
W. Well, yeah, with WS, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So, but this beer's it's again, Dan always made a really good Hefeweizen at GB, right? And this is kind of based off that. To be honest, it's a 4-step mash on this. So it's this.
God damn.
This gets the whole thing, man.
That brings it home to the brew house. So we have a mash ton, lauter ton, and then we have one kettle, and then we were over ambitious having room for another kettle. So we have a 4-vessel system eventually. So anyway,
Well, that makes it a little easier, I guess, right?
Well, yeah.
Step?
Well, a dedicated mash mixer makes all the difference in the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do that in a mash lauter combo.
Well, I know that. I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's and to be honest, this is even how we would normally make a hef. I mean, this one's a little bit heavier than the hef that I would personally normally make.
It's got some balls to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Heft, maybe.
Some heft.
Hefeweizen.
There you go.
Yeah, and a lot of that's due to just the slightly higher ABV than a traditional hef. And normally I would take this beer and filter half of it and blend it back to reduce some of that yeast load that would kind of lighten the body a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
But again, being on, two owners in a establishment that, we bought the damn building and all the equipment and have a big bank loan.
Yeah.
We can only do so much on the filtration side. We don't have a big fancy filtration.
I don't think anyone was going to notice, but you.
You got to shave. You got to shave those 30 seconds, dude.
You might be aware that the consumer is okay with hazy beers at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, it's a real, old school German technique though to take half of it and centrifuge half or whatever and then blend them back. So you take the unfiltered portion and the centrifuge / filtered portion and blend it back, then you get a little bit more stable hef.
Okay.
And it lightens it up a little bit. If you've had those German hefs, they don't have they're not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so and that's something we would change with this one. But for all intents and purposes, I mean, it's an underpitched beer. This is 4-step mash. It's dramatically underpitched, like an 80% underpitch.
To stress out the yeast.
4 steps, you're saying 4 temperature rest.
Yeah, so this starts at 112, and it goes up to I think 136, then 154, then 168.
What is the 136 rest doing for
it's
you?
kind of the modern. It's a modern protein rest, right? So I mean, the old school protein rest was always in those low 120s,
right?
But you always have the potential in those low 120s to do a little bit of damage, as opposed to doing all good.
Kind of being in between an acid rest and a protein rest.
Yeah, you can eat up your head retention in your body in the low 120s. It's great for free amino nitrogen formation. Actually trying to get some FAN into the beer if you have fermentation issues in terms of fermentation stalling, and such. But it's not actually that great at building body and head retention. So the 136 to 138 rest we use on all of our lagers too, and our lagers will start at like 15 Plato and finish at 12 and a half Plato and finish right around 3 Plato, so like 10-12 specific gravity, but they taste like they're 10-18, 10-20 because they have a ton of body to the point sometimes we have to throttle that back.
I see.
So it's again, it's not great for FAN formation, but it's great for body and head retention. Our Pilsner has head retention for days.
Wow.
Even with that rest.
Love that.
Yeah. So we do 3-step mashes on all of our lagers and the 4 on this beer.
Okay. We were talking at the break about how you guys didn't bring us a lager.
Yeah, we screwed that one up.
Yeah,
we brew great lagers. We decided not to bring any.
As long as we don't have 12 IPAs in replacement of the lagers, then that's fine.
Right. No, I'm making
I'm
fun of
alright
you guys,
with
of course, because I just saw in my notes, you guys love good continental ales and lagers, and then you showed up with some crazy beers for us, too, which is great. It was probably a good choice on your part. Give us something to talk about other than, yeah, you're right, that's a fucking good Pilsner.
Right. That's a really good hef.
That was exactly
That's
exactly what we thought.
in our mind right now.
Yeah. Especially the way you describe it. It sounds so good.
It's really good.
And the way the hef is so good, if your Pilsner is equally as good, I'm even more upset.
Easy for you to say, Warren.
That's how fuming I am. My brain is scrambled.
Shit. That sucks.
It was great hef. And then underpitch by a lot, you say, to stress out and get the esters?
2 cells per barrel, I think is
and
what
it's
I
not
read.
even it's not even so much the ester formation, to be honest, because we haven't actually checked to see if we underpitch versus standard pitch if the ester formation changes.
Okay.
For us, it's been more fermentation control. So, and that was again something that we found at Gordon Biersch. I was there when we first started doing the production hef at Gordon Biersch. And if you pitched at your standard rates, right, your 0.75 to 1 million cells per mil per degree Plato kind of numbers, we'd get like 2.5 day fermentations and it'd blow out the top of the tank.
Okay.
The Germans tend to go really low, so this one's actually 4 million cells per mil total, and we'll get like a 7 day ferment on it.
I see.
So it just gives us a little bit more control, so we can. And this is done at a little bit cooler temperatures because for us, our hef is more about the phenolics than the bubble gum and such. So you still get the banana, but
it's
the bubble gum,
which is a good choice, by the way.
Yeah. So hence the long mash rest too is we're trying to accentuate the clove and then reduce the bubble gum by doing a little bit lower fermentation temp. So again, and by going with a little bit slower ferment, we can just monitor and control it just a little bit better.
I got you.
So we have on a 40 barrel fermenter, we could fill this up to 32 barrels ish, right? And not overload it. If you ever look at the rule of thumbs with hefs, they always say like half capacity. You got
Really?
a 40 barrel fermenter, you put 20 barrels in, you got 20 barrels
Because
of
it'll go
foam,
crazy.
It just goes crazy. It's because you just pitch too much.
I see.
So.
Why does no one's ever said that to us on this show?
Right.
Not even Dan, which I feel like he keeps some secrets under his belt.
Well, you
right?
know, Joe, I can't do Dan. I would like to do Dan.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Just do something in German.
I wonder if that kind of simulates the effect on the yeast like an open fermenter, like having that extra head capacity, because I know fermentation shape really matters.
Well, it does. I'm not sure, again, in our location. So, again, we've got 40 barrel fermenters, but we tend to half batch most of our continental stuff in them, and then we'll 90% fill to working capacity with all of our other beers into them. But we haven't played too much with geometry with these beers, but we're really starting to play with, or putting the thought into playing with it with our saisons. There is some research out there with saisons in terms of any kind of back pressure on the fermentations, because obviously a lot of the Belgian breweries and French breweries are using open fermenters for their saisons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something in the future we want to try to play with, based on that kind of ratio we're talking about in our fermenters.
See if it changes.
See if it changes. But these beers, like I said, again, it's more the fact just that there's nothing worse than fermenting a beer with so much yeast, which the hef tends to do, that you lose. Not only do you lose capacity in terms of filling the tank, you lose capacity in what you call tank bottoms, right? So if you got the conical shape of a fermenter, if you fill the damn thing 95% full of yeast, that's all loss. All you've done is now you're a baker. You're just making yeast,
right?
You're not making beer. So like it's just trying to control what we would consider our high Kreuzen cell counts.
Yeah.
It's like our low. I mean, so basically we're pitching to a cell count that at 24 hours into fermentation we can take a cell count and see the same number, that we'd get. So our lager and the Hefeweizen both peak out at the same total concentration at mid fermentation. But one of them starts again 70-80% lower initially.
Okay.
So it's just it's genetics, man. So.
Scott, you got with the right brewer, man. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah. I like this.
You just throw so many numbers out at you that
it sounds good.
I want to invest.
And really, he's just napping back
Right.
there.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
They don't
sad.
even have a microscope at the brewery.
Man, imagine if they had the
One, two,
switch
he's just
at
counting.
Anheuser-Busch over there in London, like little handheld Nintendo. No one would be napping. You should be taking turns playing Mario Kart.
Of course.
That'd be amazing.
Well, and before we get into our next glass of beer, Scott, you're actually from the wine side, right?
Yeah, so I went to Davis, so I did kind of the opposite. So I went Davis and did.
He sounds disappointed.
Yeah.
I went to Davis.
Like
I mean, sorry, I wasn't dancing in Scotland for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were boring.
It's fine. I went to Davis. I sweated a lot. Fine.
So, yeah, I went to Davis and I did a viticulture enology, but I also, when I was there, I studied with Charlie Bamforth. So
Okay.
I was the winemaker in the class. There's a class of 20. This was in 2006. So it was, craft brewing was starting to kind of get hot, but the class was full of winemakers, and it pissed him off because
Charlie
pissed Charlie off. Of course, it pissed him off, right? And he gave us a lot of shit. Like I walked into class one time, I'll never forget that. Walk in, was late, and he goes, "Hey, class, look, it's the all-American boy." I was wearing a tank top and had a skateboard. He's like, he goes, blonde, tank top, short, not very intelligent.
Yeah.
Somebody knows how to give out the compliments.
But he was a great guy. We had so much fun in the class, and I wish I paid a little more attention because the winemakers kind of went in that class to kind of drink beer.
Okay.
And but we did.
He was that way though. Like that's a great part of his personality. If you can't take his shit, you're in trouble. The first time I met him, he came into my house, and my motorcycle was parked on my front patio at the time. Yeah. And then he met my girlfriend, who's British, and he meets her. He meets me. He meets her for 5 minutes, and he turns, looks at me again, looks back at her, and goes, "What the fuck are you doing with him?" We had known each other for 5 minutes. Like, that was it. Okay, so this is his personality.
So he was a great guy. But anyway, yeah. So I went to. I had no intention of ever getting into brewing, and worked, did winemaking, worked in New Zealand and Napa, and ended up in Sonoma, El Dorado County. So El Dorado County's been in El Dorado County for 7 years now, and then met Casey doing at Perry Creek, my most recent job, and I was there for
just winery.
Winery, 6 years there, and did well, and decided it was time to do something else, and reached out to Casey and sent him an email. How much for a 10-barrel brew house?
Right.
And
with his background, he's like, we're not even going to talk about 10 barrels, right?
It was just one of those couch emails, and that's kind of how this whole crazy project started out.
And I'm just going to guess, by the way, Casey, your bank account was shit, but your attitude was 10 barrels is not enough.
No, we actually, and we built the thing on paper to be 20 barrels. But when I was up at Deschutes, I loved how much headspace we had in our kettle. So I thought, oh, shit, I want like 3 feet of headspace, no matter what our fill volume is. Yeah. Well, come to find out now we can fit 39 barrels in our kettle.
Wow.
So now we call it a 30-barrel system. Yeah. So, but there was no way we were going to do a 10, 15-barrel system.
Nothing
well, and I've been there, and I can tell you I have serious brewers envy about their brew system. It's sweet.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Did you go order a brand new system? Who'd you get it from?
We did Mark's Design Metalworks, and we did the whole SBA loan thing. I don't know how the hell we pulled that off. We did a crazy business plan, and basically very little investment piece. We were able to do the whole thing. I don't think that would happen how the market is now.
Yeah.
I think we've been in this like 4.5 years now, and we were able to kind of sell our soul to the bank.
Did you have a hard time? Did you get accepted the first bank?
Oh,
you went
not
to?
at all. Oh. Pitch, screw up, figure out. Pitch, screw up, figure out, and we ended up in an okay situation, but we're lucky that we got what we did, but it was not easy. We had like a 30-page business plan with crazy financial rundown and the whole thing, calling up all my CPA buddies and trying to figure out what the hell to get all that sorted, but we pulled it off.
And in either of your schooling, your formal education, was business part of the curriculum?
I did. Like I was manager, I almost double majored and decided it was too. I minored out of managerial economics at Davis, and you had some too. Casey.
Well, yeah, I definitely had some, but the reason I never got Scott's 10 years younger than I am, and I never thought about actually opening a brewery because I didn't care enough about the business side of stuff.
Okay.
And I knew I wasn't inherently good enough. I mean, I'm enough of an adult to realize my weaknesses, man, and that was a flaw.
Okay.
Massive flaw.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until, Scott just felt right. You know, I mean, because Scott, you know,
That's
yeah,
cute. That's very cute.
All American boy.
We usually
Just
shorter,
the young guy,
tussle the hair a little bit.
This
Feel right,
dude,
man.
he's stacked.
Yeah.
This is the right amount of charge.
This dude was a water skier most of his life. Man. He was a,
Haunches, powerful haunches.
But like Scott said, you know, he did well at the winery. You know, Scott didn't own a winery, and you know, he was doing well in terms of his skill. He's a really good winemaker, but neither of us brought any like major money. We're not backed, you know, with anything, man. The bank, so the idea that the bank gave us this loan is still surreal.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know.
Can we ask? Can we ask how much the loan was? Do you think is that rude?
Yeah, fuck it. We can ask. They don't have to
How
answer.
much was?
So I think the total project was $2.5 million.
Damn,
you know.
bro.
So and
millionaires.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yes!
Somebody
hell
is.
yeah!
The bank is.
But keep in mind, this is Diamond Springs, so El Dorado County.
Oh, yeah. So it's like worth $4 million.
Yeah,
It's like so it's like a $10 million building.
Right.
Well, that's the reason. Again, going back to the reason we're in Diamond Springs, right? We were able to, with that loan, was the building.
You bought the building.
I bought the building. It was all the equipment. It was all the tenant improvements and a very small amount of working capital.
That's really,
You know, so-
that's very good. That's a great budget, actually. That could have been a lot more than that. Like you said, anywhere else almost, it would have been a heck of a lot more than
especially
that.
because we got the building out of it. Couldn't even get a building probably down here for that.
Oh,
so.
God, no. If my building's what, a fraction of your size? There's no way I could get it for that.
Yeah, so that's what's cool. So at the end of the day, at least, if we got a building.
Yeah, no, that's really smart business, by the way, you know, if you can do it that way. So sounds like you guys did well for yourself. I, too, am surprised that the SBA would give a loan for that for a startup like that.
But it was
an expansion, maybe, but
yeah, I know.
You know, but well done. And look, I'm sure they're not regretting it so far. You guys are doing all right.
They don't hassle us.
Yeah. Yeah.
The bank did kind of restructure and do some weird stuff, so maybe they forgot about us.
There you go. Yeah. That's even better.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens if you stop sending the checks.
I don't think that'll
Then you'll
work.
find out if they forgot about you.
I don't think that'll work.
Well, tell us about the next beer that's in our glass, which is what, the Rouge de Champ?
Rouge de Champ. So this is kind of our, again, one of the blending, like kind of our kind of backgrounds, and this is kind of a crazy beer, and this is the first time that we're actually like trying it. Like we decided that, hey, why don't we just get this together? And this beer isn't totally done, so there's still some more blending that needs to be done, and it doesn't really fit a style. So we're calling this like a barrel aged, like, what do we call it? So barrel aged. I don't even know what the hell we're gonna call it. It's a barrel aged rosé saison. We're really good with really long monikers that no one can ever figure out. It's not
You and the rare barrel, you're fine.
It's not a sour.
Like, I don't get it.
But the problem is this beer is not a sour. So what we did with this beer is we brewed a lager, our lager base, and then so Casey was brewing a lager simultaneously. I was out at the winery. We picked grapes that day, like low bricks grapes. We pressed those off, so just literally just grapes into the press them off, put it in a porter tank, load it in my truck, and get the beer fermenting, cold crush the wine, rack the wine over into the beer. I think it was like the second or third day.
Okay.
With a mixed fermentation saison blend.
Yeast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but no lacto. But there's naturally lacto and stuff going on here, but not much.
You're gonna like this, Jay.
Yeah, this beer
You're
too.
gonna like this.
I mean, and it, to be honest, it's not showcasing great right now because this needs to be. I mean, we've been sitting on it here for the last 10, 15 minutes because it is actually really effervescent when you normally have it.
Okay.
But it's like Scott said, the whole trick with this one is trying to build a base beer that's going to compete with the grape add. So like Scott said, you know, you're bringing in a low bricks grape, which tends to be high acidity.
Okay.
And so on the beer side, if you're making a straight beer, right, we're always monitoring pH, right? You're always trying to get the pH in certain ranges at different stages. It's a whole different game when you're going to bring in a large percentage of high acid product and mix it into the fermentation. So we have to start planning for that on the brew house side. So I left the pH on this one super high compared to what we do for any other beer because we knew the acidity from this grape was going to be harsh.
Okay.
So so that the end product isn't just tart. So it's got some tartness, but doesn't hurt.
It's a carbonated rosé, dude.
That's what I thought too.
It's a carbonated rosé.
Yeah.
And I fucking love rosé.
You do?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I thought you did too. That's why I was like, oh, you're really gonna enjoy this.
I am really enjoying
Like, I
it,
really
but not
enjoy
because of
rosé.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't mind a rosé.
Yeah.
It's actually not often that there's a good rosé
Well, that's also true.
in California is
Yeah.
probably the problem. But yeah, I mean, it is more on the rosé side than it is on the beer side.
Correct, and that's
right?
the idea.
Yeah.
And then So we're still playing around with this. We have a few funky barrels, funky versions of this that we're thinking about putting back blending a little funk in, and then bringing a little freshness out with a fresh beer. So this beer's not done, but we're still working on it. We're still trying to figure these beers out in a way, because it's just like wine. Like in wine gig, it takes a long time to figure out a vineyard and figure out how the hell you're going to do a product. And we're kind of doing the same thing with this. So where we're at with what we're trying to do here is not do sour beers with this kind of product, but do a mildly funky beer.
Okay.
And so that's kind of what we're trying to find.
Yeah,
So
this could handle a little farmhouse.
So we have that.
Okay.
A little Brett.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
maybe not sour. I'm kind of with you on
Yes.
To cut the acidity.
Yes, and we did that last year, and we have 2 barrels of Brett version of this. So this is Krupp. This is in Krupp Brothers. A buddy of mine, Julian Fayard, he gave us some Krupp Brothers 2014 Cab Sav barrels, which are super clean, and then we put it in 2 dirty barrels. So I think we had 10 barrels total. So we have the 2 barrels that we're still kind of holding off. So what we're trying to do now is figure out how much fresh beer we're going to bring in, how much dirty beer we're going to bring in, and how to kind of bring it all together. So this is not a done beer, but this is just kind of, hey, this is kind of fun.
It's a great start for not a done beer, don't you think? I mean, you must be enjoying it. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not as complex as you wanted. It sounds like.
Yeah, and so this is the second year we've done this. So the last year had Brett.
Oh,
so
I see.
It was
a touch, but not much.
Not much.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much, this beer is pretty true to last year's version minus the Brett.
Okay.
And so this is always a weird balance too, because this kind of beer to us needs to be fresh. So like you have that Jolly Pumpkin that's on tap right now.
Yeah.
And that beer is phenomenal, right? It's got this nice funk to it, but it's definitely got the Brett, the kind of the Brett character that's in there.
Yeah.
But it's fresh. And so
that makes sense.
And that's what this one we're going to eventually work into. So
You still want it bright like that.
Fresh.
Yeah, you want to keep that like strawberry, spritzy vibe, like especially when we carbonate this, because we carbonate this real high. That needs that, and it's also got the barrel character and a mild oxidation, which kind of needs, like, we thought about releasing this a little earlier, and we're like, it's kind of, why did we even put it in barrels? So this is it's like, so it's like, because we top our barrels every month too. We have some sours going and all this, which makes it incredibly difficult because trying to not cross-contaminate with slightly, not clean but not dirty is what we're up against.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting battle, especially as a winemaker, because essentially that's what winemaking is. Winemaking's not clean, but it's not dirty.
That makes sense.
So that's what we're trying to do here, is make a beer that's got like that oxidation, got that light funk, but doesn't have the full like brewers like Brett lacto explosion.
Right. Yeah.
So we're trying to like balance that, which is incredibly difficult, which is cool because we have a barrel room that's temperature controlled that's been a huge tool for us, because you can't age these at 90 degrees in Diamond Springs. So we're doing that. So
Plus Casey can nap in there.
Yeah. I mean,
Great nap.
The room's super cool.
Yeah, I'm going to check the barrel room for 10 to 12 hours.
Would you consider leaving a portion of this alone for those who come into the brewery and don't like beer?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is pretty much that's the market for us with this beer in general.
But no, we have this so we also make our own wine, but we can't, not legally.
Oh, okay.
But we make our
That's
own
fair.
wine at
I'll
Perry
cut that
Creek. No, we make it legally.
Okay.
But not. Yeah, but not.
You help make it at Perry Creek, and then you can sell it at the brewery?
So I make it at Perry Creek under their bond, and then we sell it back to Solid Ground.
Okay.
And
so you don't have to. You can make this exactly as you like. And
so
not,
we make rosé, sparkling rosé. We make a sparkling Pinot Grigio. We make a Cinsault. We do a Grenache. Like, we do all these stuff. And, but again, like, we're making those at Perry Creek and selling back.
I understand.
Well, and I like that they're not just Zinfandel, which California has way too much Zinfandel.
Yeah.
But those are like lighter kind of bodied wines that you don't really get a good Grenache.
Yeah, no, and that's the foothills. Like, and the Cinsault is super rad too, and the sparkling Pinot Grigio grown in Apple Hill at 3,000 feet and barrel aged in like twice used French oak barrels and sparkled is super cool.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Well, it's probably our number like what 3 seller right now.
Sometimes it outsells IPA.
Really?
So.
Oh, God bless then, dude. Hell yeah.
Because that's the thing. Because we have a bona fide eating establishment at the brewery, we can do those things, right? I mean, we have a few ends of Firestone, Firestone Walker, and some of those guys are local, man. So we'll have their beer on sometimes. We don't do guest beers, But like, the bona fide eating establishment and having having food allows us to do the wine model. And,
Nice.
So
yeah, we couldn't do that here for the same reason.
Yeah.
No full kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the wine model is big for us because we've got, what do you think we got, Scotty? Like maybe 60, 70 wineries between Amador and Shenandoah Valley?
Yep. Yeah, and we have a bunch of wineries, right? That's agro-tourism's huge.
That's great.
Where we're at, so.
Like angry tourists? Like
And they probably...
So angry.
Man, right now I'm going to go on a fucking wine jar.
Give me some wine.
Swear to God.
And all those vintners probably love drinking your lager.
We have a huge winemaker customer base, and that's all they drink.
Yeah.
That's all I drink. That's all we drink.
Lager. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, Vinny always says that when he's on the show here, him being in wine country up there too, is that, you can't make good wine without a shitload of lager or something, whatever his saying is.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Paraphrase. That's really good.
We got a big agro-tourism area. We've got, this same beer that you guys are drinking, we do another version called Pomme de Champ. So we've got Apple Hill. So Apple Hill, most Bay Area people know because they take their 1 weekend trip a year and go get their apple pies and their pumpkins, in the fall. And we've got probably, this is a total guess, but probably 30, 40 apple farms up there, right?
Wow.
So that was, back in the, and again, I'm gonna get this wrong too. And I worked for the ag department for 9 years, so I'm gonna butcher this. But we roughly, like in the late 50s, 60s. Again, it could be completely wrong, but that area was kind of decimated with infections with the native crops up there. So they all kind of bound together.
Okay.
And decided to plant an agro-tourism crop, and that's apples.
Interesting.
Right. So we do a version of this where we take part of it again under the Perry Creek bond and turn into hard cider. And then they would take the rest of that juice, and instead of adding the grape juice like we did, the wine juice that we did in this one here, we use the same base, that yeast strain, that saison strain, is actually a two strain yeast. It's a native Sac strain and a Belgian saison strain.
Oh, that's
blend.
cool.
And it's but we'll do it with the apple juice, and that's our Pomme de Champ.
Pomme de Champ. So
Nice.
bad French. So against
Right.
apple field. It's
I
like
love
calling not an apple orchard, it's an apple field. That's my French buddies were giving me shit.
He calls the wrong
cool.
thing. Yeah.
It's cool though. It's like, so we're saying rosé field is Rouge de Champ and apple field.
Right.
But super cool. Barrel fermented and puncheons. A little bit of Brett on that. A little bit of lacto. Again, the lacto seems to take off a little more in the apples because I think the pH must be a little higher.
But that stuff, that's just natural? The Brett and the lacto? You're not pitching that, or
the
you are?
lacto is natural. The Brett is a residual
in
wine
the barrels.
In the barrels.
Okay.
And
Are you able to blend finished wine and hard cider into the beer, or do you have to co-ferment the juice with the wort?
We co-ferment it just because we feel like it turns out better. We've done we've experimented, but we find the co-fermentation melds so much better. We did one beer called Arzel. It was a Viognier strong ale that we blended. So we did blend that, and we didn't really like it as much as like these other beer wine hybrids. We did a true, because we thought this Brut IPA thing was so ridiculous. We did what we thought was a true Brut IPA. So we did a 20% Chardonnay, no enzyme, but Chardonnay being the predominant champagne grape.
Yeah.
So we're like, we're gonna spend way too much money on this IPA.
Right.
And took some local Chardonnay, did 20% Chardonnay. And then what do we use? The hops, Haltar Blanc, and
it was mostly Hall Blanc, a little Whole Melon.
Yeah,
Sounds
Haltar
good.
Blanc and Whole Melon.
Good
but it was
hop choice.
But it was super acidic because we picked it at Champagne Bricks, being even stupid, more stubborn, live and learn. Super cool beer, probably named totally wrong. It should have been like a Chardonnay ale or something like that.
Chardonnay ale, dude. There we go. There we go.
But that beer was super cool, and it actually tastes better now because, again, age helps wine. And so it's actually tasting in its prime right now. But we brewed a bunch of it. We think we brewed 40 barrels of that. By the time it grew, as we blended stuff into it.
Is it legal to add finished wine to beer?
No, not at all.
Now that you said you still have some for sale. Sorry.
No, so this was co-fermented.
Oh, okay.
So these are all co-fermented products.
And so that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, like the other one, it's not legal and it doesn't work. So that's good. It doesn't work.
Yeah, there you go. You're not even tempted to do it.
Right.
All right, let me get us to a break because I want to try some more of your beer. So we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to be talking more with Solid Ground Brewing Company. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
Try to enjoy the weightless touch of our hand. The bloodstained past already fades from your mind. There's something new out here for you to believe. Memories surround you like the heart of a dream. Pumping so many different ways it can be. Love's got a funny way of showing us everyone has to die. So easy, just let go, trust a little, like falling into the sky. Life passes like a moment in time. Everyone has to die. So easy, just let go, trust a little, falling into the sky.
Hi, this is Tyler from Libertine Brewing Company on the Central Coast of California. You're listening to Brewing Network, The Session. It sucks. Does it suck? It sucks. But that's what's good about it, is that it sucks, right?
All right, welcome back to the session. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us. We're still hanging out with Solid Ground Brewing Company from Diamond Springs, California. If you want to go learn more about them, you can go to solidgroundbrewing.com right now. They got a great website. You can learn about their beer and their wine, their food. You can learn about their story. There's pictures of these two. You got the young one and the old one.
The tall one and the one that feels good.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, Casey. I'm also the old one, so I'm with you, brother. Is that what we have? I think that's what you have.
And arthritis, I think, is two go hand in hand.
Yeah, that might be the case. All right. So we are still talking beer with these folks, and we got more beer in our glass, and I'm loving this kind of mix of the wine and the beer. And more so, I just want to point out that I love that you do both. I love that you do the hardcore, just like regular beer styles, right? I'm sure you guys have a great IPA. We've been talking about the pills. We've been talking about the hef, and all these experimental styles. And you haven't just brought us like a sour bomb either, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the goal for our place. I mean, we've got those taps you pulled up on the website. Those are all, we import those in from the Czech Republic, right? We built the brewery to be a Pilsner brewery.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so
look at those. Yeah. Those are beautiful, too.
Yeah, those are all Pilsner Kel taps. And the ones that you see there in the forefront, those are all, we had a machinist in, where's he at, in Idaho?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Total Yahoo. Yeah, Roger. Thanks, Roger.
Yeah, those are all, those are nitro taps. So that we had, because you can't put a nitro tap on a Czech faucet, so we had this really amazing machinist make those nitros for us. So because we do all.
Also, just we go back to that for a second, but just design wise, all of these taps, by the way, are coming out of a brick wall.
Yeah, no, it's kind of stupid, right?
It really doesn't even look like a. It's so cool. It doesn't look like a faux brick wall either.
No, it's real brick, man. We again bank loan. Man, so
we had a loan. Yeah. We spent the loan.
It's so gorgeous. I think it looks so cool. Okay, sorry. Back to the taps, but I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, So basically, we'd been up when we were having the system built up there in Vancouver, Washington. Scott and I would take these little trips up there to check on the equipment and kind of pop around Portland. And there was a little brewery that had a whole bunch of brick, and it looked super cool. And immediately kind of threw it.
It was the Commons.
It was the Commons.
Thanks, Modern Times, for killing that place for us.
Yeah, know that place. We spent some time up at the Commons.
Yeah, the Commons, right? So the Commons had that cool brick, and then those taps, we always wanted, right? I mean, when I graduated from the university, they told us that we could pick one spot, any beer region in the world, and they would send it to, we paid all of our tuition, man. So it was, I'm sure they banked it all, but everybody, I wanted to go to Germany, everybody else wanted to go to Prague. So we went to Prague and saw these taps.
Okay.
Loved them, man. And they're built for pouring Pilsner. I mean, it's a bit of a trial sometimes trying to pour hoppy beers out of them, because they're made to put that big creamy head on a Pilsner Kel. So it's sometimes hard to get that nice flatter pint of a, on an IPA where you don't lose all that aroma.
But it looks like they have their own gas regulator on them too.
They do, yeah. They're all regulated. They got creamer functions. They're the whole 9 yards, man. they're 5 times the price of a standard U.S. Perlick.
Okay, wow.
But they're cool.
Which and listen, a standard U.S. Perlick is not cheap.
No,
wow.
right. And we've got 27 of them. So we tend to keep about 5 or 6 wines on tap in a good period of the year.
That you pour through the same
pour
faucet.
the wine through the tap.
Yeah,
That's
again, we
so
try to
cool.
pass a little of the wine savings, the non-packaging part. We kegel our wine onto the consumer as much as we can, but wine's expensive.
Wine bottles are expensive as hell, dude. Like the big fancy, $4 or $5 bucks. Dude.
Yeah,
Even
so
on
you go to a
wine
restaurant,
prices.
we get a $15 glass of red. So we're trying to keep it sub 10s. So we do that, and
nice.
sparklings and stuff like that. So
Okay. Yeah.
But those taps, I mean, like I said, we've got a dry Irish stout on one of those. We got, which is on year round. We've got our Pilsner, which is a fun. The Pilsner, I feel, is one of the better in the area, and that's not a pat on the back kind of thing. But I'm a huge Pilsner drinker. My favorite Pilsner locally is Trumer. I love Trumer.
Great
Pils.
Pilsner, yeah.
And ours does differ though in the sense that ours is a richer, a little bit heavier Pilsner, more in the Czech style. So it's and it's not using Zats. So ours are all Kesbeck hops out of the same region.
Oh.
They're Zats parentage, but it's a very, very amped up version of Zats. So it's bell pepper and spice, and again we do that big step mash on it, so it's got a whole bunch of body.
Nice.
But it still drinks light and clean like a Pilsner, but it's just richer. So we kind of built the place on that beer.
Okay.
Again, we have the Hefeweizen year round, the dry Irish stout.
the dry Irish stout's really great too.
Yeah, that's
so we call it nice. Oldest rock in Ireland, happens to look a lot like Guinness, happens to taste a lot like Guinness.
Yeah, it's like G-N-I-E-S-S, and it's pronounced nice.
I love it.
I bet a lot of people order Guinness at your brewery.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you guys correct them, or you just go, here you go?
Yeah, you'll have a Guinness, okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, but the black and tans and everything, our Pilsner and that nice go really well as a black and tan historically. Right? So that's kind of why we always kept them on.
That sounds good.
And I'm a session beer drinker from all the time in the UK. I love cask ale. I love low ABV beers, and we can't always make them and sell them because of the nature of the market.
Yeah.
So like the beer that we're gonna have, these two beers in front of us. Again, this is when we stuck our hand up to the skirt of your tap list.
Yeah.
We got a 12% and a 10.5%.
Yeah, just in time for springtime.
Yeah, so
on tap here at the Hop Grenade, folks. Probably for the next couple days, anyway. So the first one is called Pharaoh's Island.
Yep. So this is
Pheromone Island. All right.
So Muscat of Alexandria is one of the most ancient wine grapes, and a wine grape that I really love. It's huge. It looks like a table grape, but it tastes really cool. It's very spicy, perfumey, super cool, and it happens to grow like stones. This is Starfield Vineyard, which is actually opening in a few weeks right up by us, and Tom does a great job growing grapes, and we talked him into letting these hang. So you'd make a late harvest Muscat out of this traditionally, but instead we use this as our sugar substrate into a English style barley wine. I'll let Casey speak to the English style barley wine.
It smells like a date.
Yeah, so
like date water.
So the base on this beer is
Your dates are drunk.
This base is mostly Maris Otter with a little bit of British Crystal 120, and so this was brewed to a potential of about 9% alcohol on the base beer side.
Just on the beer side.
Just the beer side. So then, and the same kind of thing that we did when we were talking pH with adding wines and such, this was made as a very basic beer in terms of pH. So typically on a beer like this, I'd probably end the boil, 5.1 on the pH scale. This is like 5.6.
Okay.
To account for the acidity of the grapes, and this is a lower acidity grape, obviously, like Scott said. It's a later harvest.
Is the idea that one brings the other down, or do they stay where they are and it just compensates for the flavor?
No, it's a little both.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, a little of both.
I guess it must blend.
Yeah, so I mean, going back to we were talking about production brewing methods, we're not basing the procedure on taste initially. It's based on numbers, right? Because we can't forecast what it's going to taste like. So we just know that. So a little tangent, but not.
That's okay. You're good.
But with an IPA, right? You're trying to a base lager, like our standard Pilsner, will end the boil around 4.9 to 5 pH. That'll tend to yield us a pH of around 4.3-ish post fermentation, which is a bright beer, but it's not acidic.
Okay.
Whereas if we're going to do an IPA, we'll take it down 4.7 post boil, because you have a pH drift creep upwards when you dry hop.
Okay.
So we're always trying to hit that same number, that 4.3-ish number, but different beers require different treatment to hit that number.
I see.
So with larger hop additions, cold side require, or dry hop side require, lower pH to start with.
All right.
But when it comes to a beer like this, where again you're bringing in a naturally acidic product, and once you get rid of all the sugar, you're just left with acid. You have to just kind of guess at it a little bit. So we kind of, we'll guess we won't guess. Scott will get a Brix, sugar content on the grapes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have the sugar content of the wort, so we can kind of, and then Scott can kind of, calculate the fermentability of that juice and what kind of alcohol we get out of that juice, and then this is all reverse engineering in our head.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get back to
the acidity, guess at the acidity,
guess the acidity.
But
and
from
buffering
experience,
capacity and
obviously.
these things.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the goal with this, because obviously, and this is not really a barley wine, and so it is. Scott's right. I mean, that's what the intent is. But we totally just kind of again screwed with it in the sense that this is not an English yeast strain. This is actually a saison Calais blend.
Wow.
We brought that in too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a fun beer though.
Fun beer. So
because there weren't enough variables.
Right. So it started as the 9% alcohol base Maris Otter British Crystal Malt beer. Only about 50 BUs.
35 Brix Muscat of Alexandria juice, which is crazy high.
Yeah.
Again, late harvest.
Mhm.
So this would not ferment out even close if it was a wine. So.
Wow.
Right. So, but the trick here, obviously, in ferment, it doesn't need homebrewing specialists listen to a lot of the modern, advice on adding sugar to a fermenting product, right? We let this beer start as a malt only product until about day 2 or 3, when it's really taking a foothold and it's nice and healthy. Then Scott would bring the juice back, and then we'd in stainless, and we'd inject it straight into the tank mid fermentation. So that it's
which is adding
guaranteed to go
sugar,
dry, right?
Yep,
So it's just sugar.
That's our sugar with acidic sugar with cool aroma.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not going to foil the fermentation by having this big,
But again, it's
high
still
high acidity.
But it's still a wild product too, so we have to be a little careful because there's lacto, there's all kinds of there's natural yeast on this thing, so we have to there's no sulfur, so we got to keep it relatively cold, relatively stable.
But you're determining the volume that you add based on this kind of in your head math you guys were talking about with the acidity.
Yeah, we had a predetermined volume, and we did a pick based on the beer.
Okay.
So
yeah.
We did all kinds of crazy stuff with this beer too. We also did a sour out of this beer, and we also did a late harvest Muscat of Alexandria standalone. So
wow,
it's kind of cool.
What is this finished ABV right here?
It's about 12 and change.
Okay.
So, but you'll notice, obviously, for a 12.5 beer, it's relatively dry. I mean, you're never going to be dry, right?
I think it's dry.
But it's dry.
And I don't think that boozy is the right word. I don't think it's boozy, but you can smell the alcohol.
It needs some.
It's kind of why I've joked about how your girlfriends must be drunk, because you can smell the alcohol on their breath when you were saying like, oh.
I don't know. I don't get that close to it.
So we aged half of this out. So we're aging. We have some of this in barrel and some of this in stainless. That we're aging in cold box, and we're just about to pull this off the tap menu. So the whole plan was never to release it this year.
Wow!
But we thought it was so badass. We're like, we're going to release it this winter.
It's
so
completely.
We released it.
It's so badass.
Is all of the grape juice that you're using untreated, like no sulfur or anything?
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's super cool because we have all these. That's what's cool about El Dorado County is we have all these local ingredients so close to us. Like we do a Pacaya Pilsner, and it's our.
What the fuck is that?
So it's our.
I assume it's a grape because I haven't understood
So
any of them.
we do a local this local grape grower that we know. He brings in smoked peppers. So it's ghost peppers and Scotch bonnets and Trinidad. We don't even know what the hell they are half the time. We actually were doing it today because we're about to release that in a month. And it was like mustard gas. We were coughing. We had to take it back.
I bet, yeah.
But
the oak smokes it all too.
But point being, like we have all these cool ingredients right at our fingertips. We do a peach ale. So we do like a.
What the fuck is a peach?
Yeah.
So we have some local growers, the Manfields up there. They give us a bunch of second peaches, and we hand shucked those and fermented. So
it's working too.
Cool.
That I think that it's actually the aroma of the Muscat grapes that keep the aroma of this from being boozy.
Yeah, well, the Muscat is a very aromatic varietal.
Okay.
So like that is the draw to the Muscat of Alexandria in that beer, and so it is. It's spicy. It's peachy. It's stone fruit. You know,
it's also barley winey.
Like
this one tastes like a beer too.
And it's more barley wine.
Tastes like a beer.
And it's more barley wine now than it's ever been. So Scott and I, when we were sitting in your tap room, we were like, "Whoa, this is not the same beer." Because when that beer at 12% alcohol, we were serving about 18 days into production.
Okay.
It was so clean.
Wow.
And so well fermented.
But the saison yeast was more forward.
It was more forward.
I see.
So, but that's why when Scott said it was badass, that's when we put it on, because it was like this 12%, no fusel, no rubbing alcohol, no nothing. It wasn't a barley wine though. It didn't taste like a barley wine.
That was that mid sugar add.
Yeah, it really kind of kept those fusels down.
Right.
And it was cool. But the barley wine drinkers, right? Because it's just like IPA drinkers. You have barley wine drinkers. You have amber drinkers. There's always
Very
a
small,
drinker, right?
Small barley wine drinkers versus IPA.
It's really that one guy.
Barley wines.
This isn't a barley wine. Well, technically, the malt base was a barley wine, but it was never really a categorical beer. But
are you going to hold on to any more of this to see if that barley wine age keeps going?
Yeah, we have a bunch still. So
You
have to. Sitting in
So interesting how it comes back up, like maltiness you wouldn't expect.
Yeah,
I think we've got so we have 2 wine barrels. Like I think they're like third use wine barrels. They're white wine Chardonnay barrels that we filled with this, and then we have a stack of kegs that we shelved, and we're gonna let those cruise. So
and then let me ask this part about we barely mentioned hops except for in the Pilsner. Like a Bigfoot barley wine. Let's take an example, right? You kind of got to use a lot of hops to back up all the sweetness of the barley wine. So to me, like Bigfoot always tastes like a triple IPA before it ever tastes like a barley wine, right? Is this heavily hopped as well, or you don't have to do that?
No, that one actually we wanted the wine to be a little bit more present. So that's only for a 12% beer. If that was a straight English barley wine, I'd probably go like 90 BUs on it, right? This is only about 50.
50. Okay.
So it's, so it's very, very subtle.
Okay.
This other one, which we'll talk about here in a second. It's a Russian Imperial Stout with a wine and chocolate component. That one was like 100 BU.
Okay.
But that one it's not anymore.
Yeah.
But that was more going to be like more of a West Coasty, Russian Imperial. But that one that we just had, the Faroes Island, was never meant to be a hop-driven beer. It was all about just the Maris Otter, and we were trying to get the Maris Otter, to be honest, to blend with the Muscat of Alexandria. We wanted a malt-based thing. I mean, Scott himself is not a huge malt-based drinker. He doesn't love malty beers.
Mm-hmm.
Where me having, again, some UK background, I love kind of some malt. So that was a good hybrid kind of thing where we could both be a little bit happy with what we were doing.
Sure.
So I could play with some Maris Otter. He could play with the Muscat, and it worked.
And would it make sense, Scott, that you can work better with malt flavors and wine than, say, hop flavors in wine because your background's not in using bitterness?
Well, hops and wine are a tough thing in general, just like triple IPAs or whatever. We've toyed with this, is that they tripled, quadruple IPAs, that the hops don't like all that high alcohol and it gets weird. So, but yeah, I know, but I mean, I feel like we can play with hop aromas and stuff all day long. It's just I think when things get the bitterness is fine too. I mean, it's just when we play with the alcohol and hops is where we struggle.
I see.
So.
Okay. Well, you mentioned this next one, Casey, in our glass, Devil's Leap, which tell us all about it. But I think this one was complex in a lot of ways, also from a Solera, right?
Yeah, and Scott will talk more about the wine side, because this one was fun. But on the beer side, this is very much just I think this beer totaled out at like 10.5 ABV.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
I think we're 10,
10 and change.
I forget where we're at. Yeah,
but
right 10.3 or something.
Same thing though. Started with a lower based ABV, kind of base, but it's a lot of Briess roast barley and just it's basic Russian Imperial Stout. Yeah, but the difference is with our beers, and we were saying this on the break a little bit, is when Scott mentioned that we're trying to do beers that are dirty and clean at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more difficult for us because we're 100% wine barrels. We don't have any spirit barrels in house. Spirit barrels obviously come in inherently, sterile because they've got 40 ABV, liquor in them.
Mm-hmm.
The wine, like I said, it doesn't matter. You can have winemakers all day long tell you the barrel's clean. You get it, and you put a beer in it, expecting this really nice, bright, fresh product, and it's Brett.
Yeah.
Because so with any of these beers, this one included, we're still trying to maintain a certain level of integrity on the base beer. So this is never meant to have any kind of funk to it. So it was just always meant to be just a Russian Imperial Stout that showed some of the wine characteristics. So this has got old grape product in it, in terms of stuff we've sat on. But it's
and beer, old beer too.
So
it's either you've gotten me good and buzzed, or it's just my favorite beer, or both. This is my favorite beer so far. This one's really, really good.
So this is fun because what we did with this, so we bought some barrels actually just right in Martinez from Tanillery O, some punch-ins. So we bought 100. They actually we did a beer trade, 130-gallon punch-in, new French oak. Then there was 3. I think from Vineyard 29. I think they were like third use punch-ins. So we aged this original beer for a year in those. So we have a new oak component. So you'll taste the vanilla in there. The vanilla is not from the chocolate or anything else. It's from the French oak.
Okay.
And then we decided to take that one step further and blend this into stainless, brew another beer, ferment that beer, and blend that beer into this. So we have a Solera. So we're calling that
was it another Russian Imperial Stout?
The same beer, same exact recipe.
Yeah.
And then and then we blended a little Petite Straw in there too. And
a little bit.
And then we actually pulled the same volume back out, and we're aging that back in the same barrels.
Okay.
We're a little scared, so we're aging that in our cold box in punch-ins. So we have the 4 punch-ins in our cold box, just because we do get a little lacto action, so we get a little funk in this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that wine funk that we're looking for, so a little oxidation, little funk, but not by no means sour, by no means.
Are you getting that right now out of this beer?
There's just a little of that touch, but we put so then we took it one step further and we put a little chocolate in this because we felt like it was a little rugged, and the chocolate kind of tamed it out and brought it, kind of pulled everything together.
Okay.
We might not need the chocolate next year. The barrels were a little bit powerful, so we put a little chocolate in this. So I think it masked that a bit. But yeah, I get there's just a touch of that lacto soury in here. That's what makes this beer really dry, very drinkable.
Maybe it's the chocolate. I could see that the beer could have easily become kind of acrid.
Yes.
And is that, when you say rugged, is that kind of what you're picking up? And so the chocolate was able to help you? Because it's not acrid now.
Correct. But that's that's one of the things we're struggling with wine barrels. We have a big array of wine barrels, a big array of friends that give us and we buy barrels from. And beer does not, whatever reason, we're trying to figure this out still, beer does not take like barrel character, like new oak, nearly as well as wine does.
Okay.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
And we're really struggling with this because Napa Cabs, we've seen, they call it 200% new oak. They'll actually take new oak, do a Napa Cab 1 year, take that out, put it into new oak again.
Oh.
200% new oak.
Okay.
And
California just fucks shit up.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we do this with 25% new oak, and we're like, what the hell? And then we blend it again. And
meaning that you get so much more of it.
We get so much oak. So we're still trying. Again, this is the whole, it's going to take a lot of time to figure these beers out.
Yeah.
These are patient beers, and we're still blending. We're still having to blend and mess around with them. But I think that's
fascinating, though.
The point being is we need, and once used are risky because they have infection. We don't know the history, and even if we know the history, and there's no sulfur, and the pH is higher, so it's tough.
But you have no choice, because if you use new French oak, you'd leave it on for what, a day?
Exactly.
Just rack it in and rack it out.
Yeah.
Exactly, and you lose all that complexity that you get because in wine aging, when we age in barrel, the first month or 2 months, 3 months is awful. The wine sucks, but it tames out, and that's why I kept telling Casey, it's going to tame out. It's going to tame out. I don't know if this is going to tame out.
Right?
Dude.
Yeah.
So. This is kind of how crazy this story sounds, but what we did do, we are trying to learn how to do this a little bit with these kind of, not very.
I love this though,
techniques.
and you're going to end up. Well, you've already ended up with these products that are so unique. I haven't had beer like this.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
Right, so
especially on purpose.
You know
what I mean? Sometimes you get a higher alcohol beer that's a little whiny, or a little bit of this, or a little bit of that.
Yeah, you accidentally love it.
Well, you're like, oh, this is. Yeah, I get it, but this
they're so unique.
So you're already figuring it out, and of course you've got a long way to go. And look, I know you're not like a sour brewer, right? But when we talk to Jay at the Rare Barrel, and he talks about the same things about these variables that he doesn't understand. Mm-hmm. He's like, all I've done is take notes and monitor that this is happening. Mm-hmm. I don't know why yet, and you just keep gathering data, right? Mm-hmm. And figure it out.
And it takes time. It's slow.
Yeah.
And we've learned things already that would, again, take way too much time to go into, but things that we had no idea. And then once we found them out, it made perfect sense. We thought about them in terms of, the chemistry and the science of any of these products.
Can you give me an example of one of these things?
Diacetyl.
Okay.
Is a major one, right? I mean, there's a lot of in wine with the malolactic kind of, fermentations and such, there's a diacetyl component. And when you go to blend that, a wine that's had a lot of malolactic, fermentation into a beer, there's no, providing that the beer is a finished product, there's nothing to mop that diacetyl back up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just gross.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Wait, and so have you had to throw shit out, or have you found a way to clean this up?
Luckily, we've always done it in a trial format first.
Okay.
So like Scott will bring the wine in, we'll always do a pre-trial blend, and it took a while to figure out, well, why isn't this wine, working with this beer?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, of course, yeah. It's thrown diacetyl because of the wine process side where that's not an issue.
Right.
On the beer side, we can't have it, and but we have nothing left to mop it.
Okay.
So
you don't want to release a buttery lager?
No.
That's what they do with Chardonnay, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man.
Pretty
It's
much,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I was just going to say, look at you guys. You're figuring this out, and there's brewers out there that can't even figure out how to get rid of the fucking diacetyl.
Well, I
Let's
know.
be honest.
When the diacetyl is an issue, man, I mean, it is, and and it's I'd say it's inexcusable, but
I agree.
And if we were a tank of a beer wine hybrid could potentially cost us $20,000. So if we just threw it in there,
okay,
it wouldn't be a good thing, man. So we,
you got that loan to pay, son.
Oh yeah, well, unfortunately too, there's only two of us that are tasting this, Scott and I, right? And palates are individual, so it's we always have to be really, really careful. So like even like this last beer, that Scott was talking about, with that new oak took over this beer, literally dominated it, and and so there's a lot of really good liquid cacaos out there now that are really cool, on the brewing industry side, and
good save.
Yeah, and so it was like let's just try it, because in general, when you're going to build a beer, right? If you're trying to build a higher ABV beer and try to balance, or if you're trying to make a beer taste chocolatey, right? You always need a crystal component, right? Something that's a little sweet to make your brain think that there's chocolate in it.
Yeah.
Well, this beer was missing all that sweetness because it was so dry from the wine,
so
dry
and
from the tannin,
and a little lactose souring, so it's like
smart decision then.
Need some sweetness, right? So, but that's what brewing is. I mean, it's always there's very little issues on the brewing side, as opposed from
it's all on Scott's side.
Well, yeah. As long as you make good, clean beer, like you can fix anything. Right?
Yeah.
It's when you fuck shit up in terms of bad practices that you got to take your medicine.
Right.
But there's no excuse on a beer like this when we have good. If the products are clean, we can find something. Which is why, like I said again, that Rouge de Champ that we had earlier was still a work in progress, because we know what the potential is because we had it last year. It's just how do we want to treat it from this point on?
Yeah.
And same with that
smart
beer,
brewing.
So it's
but that one's also tough just because we're coming across the problem of acetaldehyde popping up, because in wine we can age, and sulfur mops that up for us. And when we're looking at these, we still top monthly, but it still pokes its head through. So it's like we're trying to.
So can I ask why you guys top your barrels monthly?
No. Well, because we are trying to be sort of clean, so they'll just be raging.
So you're just not giving an opportunity for
we're not oxygen. Acetaldehyde will be the biggest monster. Like that Rouge de Champ would just be a acetaldehyde it would just taste like bruised apple. It'd be gross. And it's got a little. I mean, and there's a little bit there. We're trying to figure that one out by blending. We have some. We're messing around with that, but again, that's one of those things we're trying to figure out too. Is again like how to do these. Because there's the way of you do wine, there's a way you do beer, and how the hell are we going to bring these together?
Well, because bugs, right? I mean, your Brettanomyces and PDO and all these things, they mop all that up. But if you're trying to make a clean product, and when you oxidize, ethanol or alcohols that you have in beer, you get acetaldehyde. So I mean, that's why always hear the old you think about, you don't aerate your beer or your wort until, if it's started fermentation, all this stuff.
Mhm,
Well, it's
mhm.
only partially true, obviously, but the reason why people historically say that is you don't want to oxidize your alcohols into acetaldehyde. You put a clean beer in a barrel that has no bugs to mop up any potential
No
compounds.
pellicle to protect it.
Mhm.
Right. PDO will, like Scott said, PDO will throw a film over the top that protects it from oxygen. If you're trying to do a clean beer, though, and you don't keep it topped, you've got an oxygen layer that's diffusing into the beer, oxidizing alcohols into acetaldehyde. But again, you've got no bugs to mop it up. In wine, you'd sulfur it, which would bind with acetaldehyde.
And top every month.
And top every month, and it's fine.
So with you guys right in between, you've got no real solution here except to top up these barrels.
We're still trying to figure it out.
Or not use the barrels because they sound like a fucking pain in the ass.
They're a fucking pain in the ass.
I mean, just use the grapes and stainless and get on with it.
Oh yeah, 100%, man, 100%.
I love that little funk though, that little draw that that Rouge brings. Like it needs that. Otherwise, it's just too. It's like for me, rosé, sparkling. Well, because we have two. That's why we do the barrel aged Pinot Grigio sparkled. Because that barrel brings in a little something, just like we do a Pinot Noir or local Pinot Noir that we sparkle. People like that probably better anyway. We're probably making our life too difficult here. But
Right.
I think that barrel brings in a little something. We just got to figure out the perfect balance, and we're still trying to figure that out.
I'm going to do a plug. I don't know the company name, so it's like a partial plug, but it's just because I saw it. I saw Peter Picard using it in Colorado at his new brewery. You've seen these kegs that are like, they're these stainless squares that you put staves in. You know what I'm talking about?
Squirrel.
Oh, look! Did you hear the disdain in his the disdain in Scott's voice? He's like, "Yeah, I saw that fucking shit." But like, because you could adjust more. Is that cheating?
Like, this is something we've struggled with in the wine industry too. Because I mean, yeah, you've got like the chips, you've got the tank staves, you've got all the other stuff. But nothing translates like a barrel.
Okay.
It really doesn't.
That's
and
fair.
maybe it's. We've done a bunch of trials, and some of it is a little bit romantic, and I'll admit to that.
But that's okay, yeah, because if you nail it, then you're like, see.
But at the same time, it's still. I still don't really. I'm not a big fan of that stuff. And I like the process.
Okay.
And I think that I still like having a little bit of that microbe load and all that stuff. That's what makes this kind of fun and interesting. Otherwise, it's just like it's too linear. I don't know.
Right. You don't want to be sitting at a computer napping every 3 hours. You want a little challenge at this.
Well, Scott, it's rubbed off on me, man. I get bored too now.
Yeah.
I was always just a classic beer guy, man. I love milds. I love bitters. I love composers, man.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for those next.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Oh
shit. Oh man.
It sounds like we got more to talk about. So there's a whole nother show. And next time it's milds.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Here's the styles that everybody in this room loves. We didn't bring them.
We do it, man.
I loved all these.
My best buddy is the brewer over at Timothy Taylor's in the UK, right? And they make the best mild in the UK. I mean, they won Champion Beer Britain more times than any brewery in the UK.
Let's call him right now.
I like the man. So when we just sent over our sales guy to the UK. Well, we didn't send him. He went to the UK because he's young, right? And he wants to sow his oats a little bit, man. But he I set him up with a tour there, and the first thing he did when he came back is ask for a mild, man. So we brewed a pale mild,
nice.
Right? Everybody knows the dark milds.
Yep.
But Timothy Taylor's is championed the pale milds, the old school thing, man. No, it's basically a British bitter with 15 BUs in it.
Sounds great.
It's phenomenal. All Maris Otter, man, just a touch of British Crystal 30,
mm-hmm.
And
cask hopped.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yep.
Little Fuggle, little EKGs, man, it's great, but
sufficiently screamed at in Cockney as it's fermenting.
But at the end of the day, though, man, like who drinks it, right? I do. Like I do. I'm a sales guy. I'm like, so
I would love that. God
right.
damn it.
So
yeah, but what are we're gonna drive 4 hours every week to have more? Yeah.
What is it? No, it's probably 3.
Yeah, it's
from
not
here?
too bad actually.
It's 2 and change.
No,
2 and change.
Under 2 hours.
Let's go right now.
And mild's low alcohol. You can handle it.
That's right.
I could drive back.
Yeah.
Just one.
You get up probably 5. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh damn. That sounds delicious, boys.
Well, yeah, gentlemen, all of these were delicious. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing it with us, and dropping some knowledge too. I think we got some new tips out of you guys today.
We always tell too much, man. Like
no, that's cool though.
Well, I feel like this problem is one that you brewers need to solve, but you guys are the right ones to figure it out. So.
Yeah. By the way, in the old days of the BN, all the brewers used to say too much. Now everyone's a little fucking tight-lipped. So it's you guys are you guys
really?
are refreshing.
You think so?
I think so. A little bit.
Because remember how many
bit.
times we always got, that's a trade secret, I can't. And we're like, come on, fucking tell me. No one cares.
Yeah.
No, I can't tell you.
So Okay, I guess I haven't heard the exact phrase like that's a trade secret, but I'm in thinking of the interviews over recent years and previous. Maybe I've stopped asking the right questions. To be honest with you, that could be part of it. Like maybe we already kind of I didn't know how to get to the point again, like something that was uncovered. But I feel like in the early days, there was just more to share too. Maybe brewers have learned so much from each other,
it's all just
and from us, by the way, that there's not as many new tricks.
Well, we also
I don't know, but like the Hefeweizen trick's not new.
No. We also don't ask for recipes anymore. We just
right.
So, and I think that's where we would come to loggerheads a lot of time with
and get tricks.
Brewers who go, well, I can't tell you exactly what is in this beer when we were like asking for recipes.
That's that we would get. I won't tell you the recipe or even
maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Because there is a tightening up.
And every now and then a brewer would say, there is this one little process we do I won't tell, but I'll tell you everything else.
I put each hop up my ass.
Right. No one ever said that probably for good reason. But yeah, so thank you for saying you didn't say too much, and I appreciate it.
Now, what's your social security number?
It's still open.
You guys are going to be fine.
No one wants to deal with this bullshit anyway. It's a pain in the
Right,
ass.
it is,
It is a pain in the ass. You guys are going to be fine because the beer is good. It's very, very good. And if it wasn't, then you'd be in trouble with all of your crazy antics. But the beer's good.
Well, and honestly, we were talking touched on a little bit earlier where, you have IPA or porters or stouts or whatever, right? And you can get certain variety of those, and you can get some that are better than others. So in a way, you can find, this porter is unique because it's a little more chocolatey than others. But these beers, I think, are truly unique in the brewing world because people do, make beer with wine yeast or, back sweeten with some grape juice or whatever. But you guys are going varietal specific, and you're treating it what sounds like a true beer wine hybrid. Not here's a beer, here's a wine. Let's force them together and make them breed. This
with
is
the two backgrounds to back it up.
Yeah, this is an entirely different thing, and I think they're doing it justice.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
it's probably the most unique beers that I think we've had on the show, maybe ever.
Maybe ever. Certainly in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Since Teresa was on the show last, I think.
There you go.
Right. Well, of course. Well, yes. Let's that aside.
Yeah.
No, I have so much respect for these guys. They truly are doing something that's so unique. And when I went to visit them, I literally just spent the whole day in the back watching Casey brew, and he just brought me a beer every so often, and I was just like floored by every single thing I've tasted. So these guys are my homies. They're they're a few miles away from my brewery, so I have all the respect in the world for them.
How many beers do you keep on tap? I want to know. I want to know how much. I'm trying to figure out how much Teresa drank that day.
Probably on average, probably 14. Anywhere between 14 to 17.
I definitely had at least 14 beers.
Very nice.
And then drove at high speed back.
Then I drove the canyon home. 14 beers
14
that
ounces.
were 4 ounces each.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, really good stuff.
Cool.
All right, once again, everybody, go to solidgroundbrewing.com. You can find out their address so that you can go see them. And what's the town again?
Diamond Springs, just outside of Placerville, California.
There you go.
Right below South Lake Tahoe.
All right, maybe next time I'm on my way to Tahoe.
Yeah, it's right on your way to South Lake.
Perfect. So I can go drink with you and then go lose all my money.
Perfect.
That's right,
gamble.
Baby. Let's go.
It's my MO.
We're cheap, so.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it sounds like it. I like your cheap wine plan. Yeah, that's very good. All right, boys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
If you're local to Concord, you can come down to the Hop Grenade probably for the next couple days and try some of this beer that we've been talking about, but I'd get here soon if I were you. It's going to be gone pretty quick. Otherwise, go to the website, solidgroundbrewing.com, and you can find out where to find it. We're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're talking to our old friend, Dave Marliavoovooveevov.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah, he's got some kind of thing happening again.
Good.
Yeah.
The sky is always falling with that one.
Hang in there. It's the session. We'll be right back.
take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way. Come back and tell me I'm wrong, don't wanna be that highway shadow as long. 'Cause when the liquor is strong, start singing along, sing along. Always stand up, it's making the call. A few boys in the back and starting the brawl. Love you big and small, short and tall. When you fall, I'll love you warts and all. Waiting for the next thing. You waiting for the best thing to come around. Forget about the stressing. Can't you see it's pressing your spirit down? Waiting for the next thing. You waiting for the best thing to come around. Forget about the stressing. Can't you see it's pressing your spirit down? Tell me I'm wrong, don't wanna be let out. We share as long. 'Cause when the liquor is strong, start singing along, sing along. Always stand up, it's making the call. A few boys in the back and starting the brawl. Love you big and small, short and tall. When you fall, I love you warts and all. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way, the long way. Gonna take the long way, the long way,
This is Corey King from Side Project Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
All right, welcome back to The Session. Thank you so much for sticking with us tonight, and thank you so much to Solid Ground Brewing Company from Diamond Springs, California. Go to solidgroundbrewing.com and check them out. The beers are really, really fantastic and unique. I mean, I'm more excited to see what they come up with in the future even than I was about their beer right now. The beer's great. I was excited about it to try. Have something to talk about. It was so good. But I can tell the kind of trajectory that they're on is going to be fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Like as they figure this stuff out that they were talking about.
Yeah, well, and I was
that's
being
what I mean. Like,
very genuine. Where I've had beers that sort of come close to this kind of concept. We've talked about them on the show, but this is a whole new.
Yeah,
they've upped the level. This is almost like IPA. Oh, but here's West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
It's almost like that kind of a distance.
Yeah,
between the two.
they've got the background for it. They've got the creativity for it, and they have the. I don't know, for lack of a better word, like discipline. The way that they're really focused on numbers and how these things work together.
Yeah.
Well, now they have to just work on some marketing. They got to come up with a new beer style and exemplify what that beer style is.
Yeah, that's right. Agreed.
Try to connect with the hipsters. In the
Well, if we can get a hazy IPA beer style in 4 seconds, I think we can do something with this, right?
Call it hazy wine.
Shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
Fuck, dude. Sounds good.
Well, speaking of people with style,
wait a minute.
We've got Dave Marliavoovooveevov.
God damn it, Justin.
From Flat Tail Brewing Company on the line with us. Hey, Dave, what's up, man?
Well, mostly I'm trying to figure out who the fuck this Justin guy is.
Where have you been? I've been here.
You like one of the new co-hosts or something?
I've been here for at least a week and a half.
That's right. People have been asking for a female voice, and we got one.
You're welcome.
I know. I actually listened to the last show, and Teresa is already doing a better job than any of you motherfuckers. So, I mean, you got to at least give her a raise to 50 cents an hour.
Oh, stop it. You're going to make my head get way too big.
I'll tell you
flop
what,
over.
you know what? On Dave's request, I'm going to double your pay right now, Teresa.
Here we go.
Awesome.
Take that, glass ceiling.
Which is good because they pay me
So
in beer.
she's on the Bevo special, huh?
Yeah. Yes. Well, Dave, what's going on in your world right now?
What do you want?
Why are we talking to you?
No. Before we get to I know you're here. We have to promote something, but in real life, what's going on in your world? Do you have a distributor? Are you a bankrupt? Are you going to make it? What's happening?
How's Emma doing?
Do you have a gun to Emma's head?
Solid question mark. No, I sold my guns, so that's
smart.
That's going to help both of those issues.
Well,
no, we're doing good. There's a little bit of a new direction going on at Flat Tail, and I'm kind of excited about it.
I love that.
While I can't give you all the details,
I'll tell you what's happening right now, everybody. I can tell. I can read. I can tell by the
They're selling out.
He's brought in a partner.
Okay.
I'm just by the way, just to be clear, I don't have any information.
Right.
But I'm going to guess, Dave, and when you're allowed to talk, you can come back and tell me if I'm right.
How wrong you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
hopefully it's block 15. Have you heard of it?
What's the new? What would the other new direction be? Like we're making ciders now.
Yeah.
We're making trail bikes.
Well, what I can say is that there is in fact some new ownership.
Yeah, see.
However, that new ownership transition is most likely going to be the same, if that makes sense.
No, that doesn't make sense. Sorry.
The new ownership will be the
slightly
same.
Larger role at the company, along with my GM Kyle Davis, who is an absolutely fantastic human being. Has kind of taken over pub operations, and we're going to be just doing a little restructuring.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So same people own it, but just different amounts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, cool. Let's go with that.
Well, Kyle is great. I'll give you that as well. I like
terrible
Kyle.
mustache.
And, terrible mustache. Great guy.
Yeah.
Different one. That's Dave.
Oh. There's two Daves?
Fuck.
Yeah, we're all Dave.
Well, but everyone has a bad mustache. Can we just agree on that?
Right. All
Sure.
mustaches
Okay.
are bad.
All right, there we go.
Now all
Says
of
the
them
guy
they need
who's
to by
sporting a
tomorrow.
mustache.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the mustache is at Flat Tail.
Oh,
Yeah. They're all
not
terrible.
the mustaches in this room.
No. The mustaches in this room are great. Especially
Do you guys have a distributor, Dave?
Negative. We are 100% self-distributed in the state of Oregon right now.
Okay. And is most of that happening on the back of your motorcycle, or
I have only delivered 3 kegs on my bike this year. So
this year.
Wait, so you got out of your distribution thing, or that we talked about on the show? Okay.
We did. You might remember it from that 4-hour show I did with you last year, but
No.
I know you don't pay attention to me.
That's why I asked.
We actually ended up coming to an agreement with Columbia.
Nice.
After they bought out GDI, and Columbia actually worked with us a lot better than GDI did, which was the opposite of what we thought would happen.
Yeah.
And then another thing I can't really discuss the details of, but I will say that Bigfoot Distributing out of Eugene, they're good people.
Okay.
They understood that we were in a situation that didn't really fit a distribution partner, and they worked with us in a non-specific way that was absolutely fantastic. And if anyone is looking for a distributor, if you're above at least 2,500 barrels and more likely above 5,000, you're actually kind of looking to get into chains, that sort of thing, where a distributor is appropriate, reach out to Bigfoot, because they're good people. And they're functioning as craft beer lovers, not as franchise law enforcers.
Oh, that's great. I like to hear that.
Yeah,
cool.
That's good news out of you for a fucking change.
I know, it's weird. Should we just hang up now?
Yeah.
Actually, haven't had a solid meal in a week, but Bigfoot Distributing. Good people.
I had some freeze-dried beef stroganoff not too long ago. That was pretty delicious.
Dave's eating MREs now.
Man.
The fucking surplus store.
I got to get prepped for the ride, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Dave also fixed Maybelline when I was there. He was able to rip the television.
really?
He was able to rip the television out of it.
That's fixing it?
For me. Yeah, that's fixing it for me. 4 years.
I believe the question I asked was, how much of this RV can I break to get this out?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know, it's fine, whatever.
You're lucky the whole wall didn't come
Like
with the TV.
redneck Excalibur.
Yeah.
Did you keep the TV at least, Dave?
You are. So what's going on? Some sort of ride?
Yeah. So, I decided that like 80-hour work weeks at the brewery were just not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so a few years ago, I started doing this little project of mine called the Highway to Health. So what that is I ride from Corvallis, Oregon to San Diego, California in a day. And for every mile I ride, I'm raising money for the National Brain Tumor Society.
Wow. Okay.
I called it his ride to sterilization.
It's a win-win, baby.
Yeah,
Win-win.
he's like, it's just fine. Okay, I love this cause. Didn't you break your knee one year on this ride or something?
No, but we could pretend I did. Oh, you're talking about when they tried to amputate my leg in Stockton.
Yeah. That wasn't this ride?
They tried.
Yeah, no, this was a different one.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing a training ride for the charity, and I, long story short-ish, had cut my knee open in a dirt bike accident a couple days earlier, and it kind of got pretty gnarly looking. And the local urgent care said, "Don't worry, it's just a little infection. We'll give you some antibiotics. No big deal. You can make this ride to San Diego, no problem." I made it to Stockton and was kind of feeling sort of passy-outy. And
yeah.
A little unusual for me, not having made it the full 1,000 miles. So I pulled over at a hotel in Stockton, which is lovely. And as soon as I got my leathers off, I realized that my left knee was the size of a cantaloupe. There was no small amount of bodily fluids leaking out of it. And then there was this really neat, dark red line running from the cut to my toe.
Oh, that's not. Yeah,
that means you're pregnant.
Sepsis.
That's what that means.
Yeah. It means you're having a great day.
Yeah.
So I called my insurance company because they have a consult line and they know me pretty well there. And,
it's actually called the Dave line.
Yeah, it's a direct line to one person.
I have a motorcycle lodged in my
1-800
spleen.
Marliave. And the nurse told me, and I quote, "I don't care if you don't have your helmet on, get to your bike as fast as you can and ride to the ER because you're dying."
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah.
So I did that, and if you've never been to the Stockton ER on a Monday night at 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, how many gunshot victims were there?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
100% not kidding, 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was also a woman who had been stabbed in the neck. There was a guy, a guy sitting next to me with the most frightening rash I have ever seen in my entire life. And when I went up to the counter, they were like, "Yeah, we're going to put you towards the top of the list."
Wow, and you're like,
from
what?
a neck stabbing victim, which also sounds a
I'm
lot
saying,
like the waiting room in Beetlejuice.
Right.
Where they take the
And
Pretty much.
this was a Monday. Just think of what Sunday
the
or
triage
Saturday is
room,
like.
The triage room had a ripped up leather sofa that they put me on. And the doctor walks up and pokes at my knee a bunch, hands me some more antibiotics. 3 days later, in the ER in Alameda, made a stop by Faction on the way in to grab a quick pint. It was delicious. And they admitted me, and then they were about to amputate my leg, and because they thought I had MRSA.
Right.
And then the night before the amputation decision was supposed to be made, I couldn't sleep, so I asked for a Benadryl. Turns out it was an allergic reaction to the topical antiseptics I was using, and I was totally fine.
Wow.
But I just want everybody to recognize the irony that Dave is allergic to Neosporin.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, so that is irony. Except all I can think of is if I'm in a hospital and I can't sleep or I can't anything, or even if I'm fine, I'm asking for some serious fucking drugs, not Benadryl.
Where's my oxys, dude?
Yeah. So in other words, I would have died. I would have lost my leg.
Yeah.
But because Dave's not as much of a druggy lush as I am, he's like, can I just have some Benadryl so I can sleep, please?
It's totally safe, and you shouldn't flag me.
First off, I brought my own supply.
Okay.
Benadryl?
Yeah.
The contradiction list they handed me for the 6 antibiotics I was on was mildly to moderately concerning. So.
Right, wow.
So
malpractice.
Settled for the Benadryl.
Do you know what percentage you were about getting your leg cut? It sounded like they were still making the decision, but
so
50-50?
They came up to me on Friday and said, "Well, we want to give it 24 hours before we make the big decision."
Oh my God, the big decision.
Right, yeah.
So you were like 90% there.
Yeah, and I'm like, "What's the big decision?"
Whether or not to just kill you right now.
Well, you know. I mean,
You're like, no.
Do we take the leg off like at the hip, or do we like try to be conservative and take it off above the knee?
Oh my God.
And this was literally the first I had heard about any possibility of amputation.
First of all, actually, I'm fucking speechless. I'm pretty calm about this stuff. Like, I just always assume everybody else knows more than me. Yeah. I'd have lost my shit at that moment.
And your leg.
Can they not do an allergy panel in that 24-hour waiting period?
I guess they wouldn't have thought about it. I mean, what are you gonna? You can't run every test.
In retrospect, I probably should have reacted a little bit more strongly to this.
Right.
But I am me, and like this was a year after my doctor told me that I had ALS because I actually was just low on potassium.
Oh my gosh.
I can't tell if you're an idiot or all your doctors are idiots. I really don't know.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dr. Nick.
I love this doctor because every time I come in, it ends up being good news like 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. You have ALS, but you went home and ate a banana, and now
you're fine.
Yeah, better.
Right.
Turns out
I actually waited 3 months for a neurologist appointment, and the guy was like, what do you do for a living? You're like lifting kegs every day? Like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Go drink a Gatorade.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so this is Dave's dedication. All of this happened on a practice run for the charity that he's going to be doing. Once again, what is the charity called?
The Dave Marliave
Highway to
Hospital Foundation.
Highway to Health. What's
the Highway to Health rally?
Okay. What's the website?
The website
Do you need me to Google it for you?
www.braintumorcommunity.org/go/highway to health.
Or people can just Google Highway to Health.
Or you can Google Brain Tumor Community Highway to Health, or you can email me, which is the easiest option, at highwaytohealthfundraiser@gmail.com. Or ping me at 9livesmoto on Instagram. On Instagram. How does that work? One of those.
Is it the number 9?
Geosites.
It is spelled out. NINE Lives Moto.
Okay.
Dave, you really just need to buy a fucking URL, dude. We talked to you 2 months ago. The same thing.
Do you want to volunteer some time for this charity?
JP? I did.
Are you volunteering?
But you have to buy DaveRidesABike.com.
I mean, other than this time that you're literally giving us now, but
Hang on, I'm buying you a URL.
Dave rides a fucking bike and hopefully won't die.com.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm buying you a fucking URL.
What is that?
I'll buy it first.
What's the good URL name? What
Dave still has two legs.
Yeah, Dave rides a bike or Dave.
It's not MRSA.com.
Dave's bike.
You guys aren't helping. This is the same things he just gave out.
I like
Bikes for brains.
Yeah.
Dave's for brains.
Yeah.
Dave's
Mouth
for brains.
beer.
I like honestly.
Dave's leg.
Dave rides a bike.
There's no bad options here.
Is there? What's the organization called again?
Highway to Health.
Highway to Health.
I mean, here's the thing. It's not really an organization. It's a Gmail account and me emailing people asking them for money.
So you are you your Highway to Health?
Yes. I am the only member of
And you don't have Highway to Health?
And all donations are ran directly through the National Brain Tumor Society website as of now. I am hoping to actually become a legitimate nonprofit organization at some point, but life has kind of prevented the time that's necessary to make that happen.
I don't need your.
So
fucking
right
life
now,
story.
when you email me, basically, I'm directing you to the National Brain Tumor Society donation portal, which is at that really long URL I gave you, and you're making a donation directly to the NBTS.
So you don't own highwaytohealth.com?
I think they make smoothies.
Shit.
It looks like Justin might have got you one.
They're enema smoothies is what they are. Well, you know what, Dave? Look.
.org is taken.
Oh.
We're working on things.
I'm seriously doing this for you right now. This is ridiculous. I'm tired of listening to you. It's because I'm sick of listening to you.
Get a stupid WordPress site or something like that.
You know,
highwaytohealth.beer.
This has been my goal the whole time.
To have Justin do something for you?
Leave enough long, unusable URLs at you that eventually you just...
And didn't you just get a new helmet out of this deal? So now it's all coming back to you finally.
I did, and actually, holy shit, Warren's there. I've heard you the whole time. Have you been talking?
No.
Yeah, don't remind him, Dave.
Yeah, Icon Motorsports out of Portland. I actually just rode by to see if they wanted to make a pledge or, would maybe give us some social media love or something. And they end up giving me a whole tour of the factory. I met, one of the board members. I met their custom bike designer. I met their graphic designer. Saw them shaping clay over blank helmets for new aero designs. And then they basically said, they're a small company owned by a big company, so they aren't really allowed to do charitable donations, but what they can do is make sure I get where I need to go safely. So she looks at my gear and she says, yeah, you have a brand new suit, but your helmet looks old. How about a brand new helmet? And hands me a helmet. They're sending a bunch of swag down to the brewery for the Highway to Health Fest we're doing Corvallis Beer Week to raffle off. So that was an amazing experience. I mean, no warning, didn't even email them, just walked in, and they're taking care of me with gear and sending a bunch of swag down so we can raise even more money this summer once the ride's done and we do the fest.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. How much did you raise last year?
Last year we raised just under 11,000.
Wow. That's just you riding.
Yes.
You're amazing.
I have invited 30 people though.
Okay.
They just haven't showed up yet.
I know. I think I've been invited too. I never.
Well,
did.
I mean, honestly, listening to what happens on his rides, I wouldn't ride with the guy. I would ride 20 miles behind him.
Honestly, that's the only thing that makes me want to do the ride. Not the only thing. I would love to help too, but I love the adventure, and Dave's my kind of dude with all the fucking craziness. I don't know.
You should join for the way back.
Yeah, there you go.
1,000 miles of I-5 is not so much adventurous as
that's
like
it.
just a recipe for hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about DaveRidesForLife.org?
That's a name.
I can't. Highway to Health is gone.
I think Ride for Life is also gone about 30 years ago, but I do appreciate the effort.
Actually, Dave Rides for Life is. I'm about to buy it for you. Are you down?
Yeah, you little bitch.
Did you check 9 Live? Because that's one I might actually buy from you.
He doesn't know how buying URLs work.
Yeah, I don't think.
I
you go to the URL store, David.
You really want me to check out 9 Lives? Because I guarantee it's gone.
You know what? I want you to do you, and I will take whatever I can get.
David, he's doing you a favor. Shut up and be honest with him.
Hang on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to shut up and take it.
Well, I don't want to. If it's not good, I'm not going to. Hang on. Let's see.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I kind of just used the Highway to Health because that's what we came up with drunk at the bar one day. And then realize that, like, it's a smoothie thing and a couple other things. So the only thing is I don't really necessarily 100% know what this is going to be called.
There's no highwaytohealth.com.
It's not available. I don't understand how you say so you came up with the name Highway to Health, but you didn't look at, okay. Because that shit gone.
How do you not get this yet?
I don't. I'm just trying to fucking help you.
How about ridethehighwaytohealth.com? Or .org.
What about Ride to Health?
Ride to Hell.
Hell?
There we go. That's getting to health and back.
Definitely taken.
Some good puns now.
Definitely taken. I'm telling you, it's always just you. You invite 30 people, they never show up. DaveRidesForLife.org. And it just directs people. It's like an easy thing. We go, you do your whole fucking bullshit, and then we go, hey, Dave, where can people go to help? And you say, DaveRidesForLife.org.
Fucking
and that's
Lycos.
And that's it. And I'll take it.
it.
And I'll direct it wherever you want it to go. And listen,
That sounds fantastic, and I deeply and truly appreciate it.
next year when you change it again, we'll just change it again. It's not a thing.
This sounds fantastic.
I'm buying it for you. I'm going to talk to you about this week.
RideTheHighway.org is available.
I just upgraded your sponsorship level.
Are you also doubling my sponsorship money like I did Teresa's?
Yes, exactly.
That's not bad. RideTheHighway.org.
Hey, you guys are our top
$12.
media sponsor, whether you do that or not.
I love it. I love it.
Just imagine what type of website Dave is going to make at that URL.
Or ridingthehighway.com is available.
No, but none of that says like health and shit. You know?
Well, no, but
I think we're going down a rabbit hole here.
It's
I'm
Highway to
gonna throw that
Health.
out
We've
there.
been down a rabbit hole for 10 minutes.
Right now, we're sticking with Dave Rides for Life. Right now, that's what
Dave
he's
Rides
doing.
for Life. All right.
He's riding for life. He's riding for people's lives. By the way, tasty brain tumors.
Yeah, very poignant.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, my friend.
Well, look, having sex with you isn't going to help him, but he might just
So,
try to.
I knew Casey was going through it. I didn't realize that it was actually brain tumors.
He had some tumors. They took one out, and this is so near and dear to our heart.
He's getting it encased in amber.
Apparently, Dave didn't ride good enough.
No.
I'm going to buy you 2 URLs. The other one is
I
going to
could
be
try to make it a little further.
the other one's going to be SaveTasty.org.
You know, I would honestly, and all dick jokes aside, I would love to dedicate this year's ride to Tasty.
Let me talk to him about that before you do anything crazy.
Yeah.
He's a very private guy.
There's nothing crazy, just unofficially.
Yeah. I hear you, brother. All right.
Unofficially dedicated.
Well, he could dedicate it in
Well,
his
this whole
heart.
thing is kind of unofficial, so.
let's be real.
But now it's a little more official. You've got,
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah,
a
my
new
notes
website.
for this conversation are 3 Post-it notes stuck together as I sit in my backyard on a lawn chair. So, that's kind of just how we roll it.
Well-
Highway to Health. Excuse me, Dave Rides for Life.
Dave Rides for Life.
That's right.
Yeah, .url.
Well, that being said, you've raised a good amount of money, and I appreciate that. I think that's really cool. So we're happy to put the word out for you, and hopefully nothing bad
thank
happens.
you so much.
So how do people
Do you mind if
donate
I
again?
give a quick shout out to some of our sponsors this year?
Please do. I got to finish paying for your fucking URL.
First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to the Brewing Network. You can experience such wonderful shows as Brew Strong and Scott's Mixing Board Special. Seriously, though, thank you so much. The BN has been massive
We
for
love
this,
you.
and I know it's just a couple call-ins and that kind of thing, but our biggest sponsor for this year and last year is actually a Brewing Network listener.
Wow.
And when I say biggest, I mean like more than any brewery, hop company, etc. For 2 years running, he has now donated $2,000 to this cause.
Wow.
And I haven't heard back whether he's okay with me mentioning his full name on the air, but I will say thank you so much, Ryan. I cannot believe that this guy came through like he has for us. He literally just emailed me, said, "Hey, I heard about this on the show. I want to give you $2,000, and I want to give you $2,000 again next year."
That is so cool.
And yeah,
but
really, really touching. A lot of local breweries this year came out to help us. Sky High just down the block at 50 cents a mile, which works out to about $500. Yahats on the coast. You guys had Charlie from Allegory on. He used to be the brewer over at Yahats. So thanks to Nathan at Yahats. And also we have Block 15. Another 50 cent a mile donation. The Water Street Market, 25 cents. Brian Sarney, one of our pub locals, 25 cents a mile. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Dad. Also 25 cents a mile. Taco Vino in Corvallis, as of yet to confirm their donation, but it's going to be at least $250. So thank you, guys.
That's a good spot.
Boneyard Brewing out of Bend, Oregon. I know you guys have had them on the show. $500. Thanks a million. Ninkasi donated. Cascade Floors with a whopping $1,000 donation. Two Towns Cider House, Nectar Creek Honey Wine, both in Corvallis, also donated. Cold Fire Brewing in Eugene, and Foundation Engineering in Corvallis. Along with our media partners, other than the Brewing Network, this year we had help from both Northwest Graphic Imaging and Shelton Turnbull. out of Corvallis and Eugene, respectively. Each printed about 1,000 flyers to pass out around the community. So that was a huge help, too.
I'm sorry, you're forgetting someone, David, on your media sponsors?
I am forgetting one of my most crucial media sponsors and someone who has touched my heart personally. Thank you to Beverly Moore and Karen at the Years Up Pat podcast.
Wow, you're a CUNT, dude.
I love you, buddy. And thanks for having me on your show. That was awesome. And that got us a lot of, early listens and everything. And I did actually have a few people email based on that.
Can you say that again, please?
I did have a few people email me based on hearing me on the Years Up podcast.
There we go. That's all I wanted.
So 2 people listen to your podcast.
That's
I can
true.
confirm that with solid math.
Thank you. All right. Well, hey, man.
Buying this thing is driving me fucking insane right now. I just want to say.
Justin's losing his mind.
I hate when you have to log. Apparently I've used this website before, and then it's a whole thing.
Oh, I hate whole things, dude.
You got your password?
My thing's parceled and.
I forgot that I've ever even looked at this damn website.
It's not GoDaddy.
6969.
GoDaddy.
I was gonna use GoDaddy, which I do know all my stuff, but it's more expensive.
So you and Dave are on the same intellectual level right now.
Yeah.
That's
How
what we're
much money
learning.
are you saving, and is it worth
Man, don't be
this
a
right
dick.
now?
Okay, I'll figure it out when we get off the fucking
There
air.
we go.
Jesus.
Well, Dave, you still don't have a good URL.
Now's my chance.
Real quick here.
Mhm.
Based on nothing that has been texted from the audio booth, I need to apologize real quick. The National Brain Tumor Society is fantastic, and they really are a big help in this process, but they also accidentally deleted my website briefly. So I actually lost all of my stored pledge information, a few other things. So before I finish, I would like to give another huge thank you to one of our largest donors, More Service.
Oh!
Wow.
As
Yes.
in Samuel Moore.
Thank you,
service.
Sam and Beth.
That's
Very much.
technically 51% Beverly Moore
Wow.
service.
No, it's 50-50.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got screwed
You
over.
gave Sam half of that company?
Besides,
It's the other way around.
I've always wanted more service out of Bev.
That's true.
So it must be all Sam.
Wow,
You
got
gotta
her.
pay for it.
Got her.
I'm working with a lawyer. I'll
To
eventually
sue
own
me?
51%.
Oh.
You might have heard of him, John.
Yeah. John, you can't be on both sides. It's ridiculous. All right, Dave. Hey, thanks for what you do. We will help you get the word out. I will talk to you about what we're going to do with your brand new URL, DaveRidesForLife.org. I just logged in, so I got you tonight. We'll talk about this.
God bless you all.
I'm going to send it to the right place to make it easy. In the meantime, can you say just say once again right now where people are supposed to go? Because this show will be up by the morning.
The joke
So-
of the year.
If you're interested in sending a donation, please email me at highwaytohealthfundraiser@gmail.com or hit me up on Instagram at 9livesmoto. That's spelled out NINE Lives Moto on Instagram.
And so it's not just per mile. You can also donate. If I had $50.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just make
You can also do a flat donation straight through the NBTS website. I appreciate anything from $1 to all the friggin' money you got. So nothing's too small. Throw us $5. That would be absolutely awesome.
Cool.
There we go. And when does the ride itself take place?
This Thursday.
Oh, okay. So
And I am totally prepared.
get on it. Okay. Wow. I'm sure. So you're riding all the way to San Diego this Thursday.
I think you went farther, right?
So my goal has always been to eventually make it to the Mexican border. Usually I have about 2 to 4 solid weeks of training really hard for this. And this year I just decided to take up a brand new nicotine habit and then drink more.
God damn it.
You too?
So I'm going to say it's maybe not 100% that I'm going to make it to Mexico, but, I bought it's 1954 and I just found out my kid is gay-sized bottle of aspirin and I'm ready to go.
I tell you, man, you gotta race down and just tire kick the wall that they're building, which will probably be done by the time you're there, and then just head back.
I find that just putting a flag that has a charity name on it and then begging forgiveness when I get pulled over is a great way to go.
Wow.
I feel like with your life decisions that you're currently making, maybe you shouldn't go to Mexico. I feel like it would just
At
be
the-
all bad.
At the very least, you should stop going down the fucking Crosley path, my friend. Listen, you can start listening to a new podcast.
The cancer
I
sticks are
got
cheaper
at
in Mexico.
least 5 years before my toes start going though.
Yeah, but apparently you just started on your lungs. So.
But 4 years until they start going dumb.
Oh no, I'm not a total dirtbag. I'm a Southern Oregon redneck, so it's all
Chewing
Copenhagen all the
There
way.
we go. That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's worse. Enjoy your mouth cancer.
How do you do that on a bike, Dumbo? You have like a funnel?
Creatively.
Okay, good.
See, one Camelback
straw?
hydrates me. The other one is a
Oh,
drink.
I'm gonna throw up in my mouth right now.
Oh, God.
So gross.
Jiminy Christmas, dude.
He just opens up his visor on his helmet and spits. It's fine.
Dave is too
Yeah,
weird for
you
this
have, to,
world.
you have to be careful when you ride with him. Just don't get too close.
Yeah, don't be downwind from him in several areas. On the
What
bike.
happens if you're tailgating
Disgusting.
Uh,
Get a big chaw on the windscreen.
Right, man.
all right, that's it. I got to hang up on you now,
Go
Dave.
faster. I mean, come on.
All right, love you all.
Thanks,
David.
brother. Good luck, man.
Yeah, don't die.
Thanks, everybody.
Later. All right. Good Dave. We love that kid, though.
He is too retarded to die. Like, that's just it. He is
Yeah.
Final Destination. He's the main
Right.
character in Final Destination, every single one of them.
He outdumbed it.
Yeah.
He outdumbed death.
Yeah.
Yeah, Death is like, dude, you're so dumb.
Well, it's kind of cool because sometimes people who fundraise are just a little too goody, and he's not really that.
No, he's not.
Oh,
he's
no,
gonna,
definitely
he's gonna
not.
fundraise for stuff, but he's not going to give up his
His whatever it is.
little bit of living on the edge.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Good.
All right, that's Dave from Flat Tail, and I guess if he's doing his ride this Thursday, my URL might not help this year, but it has been purchased, and
That's
I
right.
will help a brother out next year.
That's right. It's the thought, baby.
Let me get this
Yeah.
figured out. All right, we're going to get out of here. I want to thank our guests once again, Solid Ground Brewing Company from Diamond Springs, California. Go to solidgroundbrewing.com. You can check out more about them. Take a look at those tap handles. It's like one of their
pretty cool, man.
one of their header photos, and they're super cool. And the way they just come out of brick like that is really cool to me.
Yeah.
Probably not easy to clean, but it looks awesome. Sometimes it's form over function, All right. Next week on the program, we're going to be broadcasting live from Russian River Brewing Company, their new facility in Windsor, California. There's actually going to be a live sour hour done from there, and then our session. It'll be the first time we're at the new brewery.
We are?
Maybe the first time. Maybe the first time we've broadcast from Russian River. I know I've done some video. No, that's not true. We did a sour hour there a couple years ago, but I thought you knew about it and opted out already. Somebody told me you weren't interested in it, and I was told you weren't interested.
I don't think so.
You told me you didn't want to go. Yes, you literally said the words.
I don't
want to go.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
also
think I
told me
did.
that, too.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
look, I say a bunch of shit that I don't actually mean at the time. You guys should know this by now.
I'm going to go buy the pizza now.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, look, man. Apparently, I don't want to go to that anyway. That's fine. All right. Cool. That'll be fun.
Well, most of us, maybe JP, maybe not, will be
Who knows?
live from Russian River next Monday.
That's right, baby.
I'm looking forward to that. And
That'll be fun. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Also, don't forget to go to homebbrewcon.org and get your tickets to HomebrewCon. Because if you come to that event, which is a lot of fun, you can also go hang out with us at BNA 14.
That'll be a good time for sure.
Still working on getting tickets up for sale for that as quickly as I can. So just pay attention to thebrewingnetwork.com. Save the date. That's June 29th. And we'll have a good time doing all that stuff.
Hell yeah, bro.
All right. You good, Teresa? Can we go? Are you done?
I kind of sad nobody noticed.
I didn't want to say
Not
anything.
true.
Oh, I know.
I know. I was a little shy about it at first. I didn't put it on for the first segment because I'm like, oh no.
Okay.
All
Right. Well, now that you say that, I'm glad you say that because I did notice. But by the time I noticed, it was the second segment, and I was like, well, but you didn't notice at first, like an idiot.
No, it was like a little.
You little sneaky.
I wasn't gonna say anything, and then I was just like, ah.
Yes. So Teresa
gotta
is
bring it up.
wearing the sleeveless jean jacket, which clearly you owned already.
Yes.
If you have to listen to
I had to cut
last
off the
week's show.
sleeves, but I had the jacket already.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They were kind of blown out at the elbows anyway, so it was perfect.
Wait, though, you like cut them and sewed them?
No.
No,
It's
they just
like-
came out clean like that.
I don't.
Wow.
This is like it was meant to be a denim vest.
Yeah, agree. I think somebody sewed on the sleeves before you got them.
Maybe.
Listen to last week's show. You'll learn all about the jean jacket vest, but you've got a tasty patch on it
I
as
got
well.
my tasty patch.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good Auburn look, dude. The jean vest.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad. Because by the time I noticed it, I was like, well, damn, if she was wearing it the whole time, I'm an idiot again. All right, JP, you ready to go? Oh, no, Twitter game.
Yes.
Twitter game. Oh,
Yeah.
see, JP always reminds me, except when it's yours.
Yeah, right. It's weird.
What was our Twitter game again today?
It is? It was trying to get at the information that we're going to get doxxed with.
Ah, yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
My definition
Yeah,
of
let's
being
air quote
doxxed.
that thing.
Yeah.
The Wikipedia definition, not JP's definition.
Okay, yes.
Look, I'm entirely intensely online. All right.
Now, before you
honest line.
before you reveal them,
Okay.
do you know how many of them are real things that we've already said, and how many are just things they think we've said or something?
People did, I think, take your advice of saying, don't
make
make us
them up.
feel real bad.
Okay.
Except there is one.
Okay.
But don't worry, it's not about us.
Okay.
You and I.
It's not about you and I.
Yeah, all right, so we're fine.
Okay, great.
It's got bad.
All right, what do we have?
Let's see. Rev says, JP admits to liking any IPAs to everyone that comes on the show, but publicly says that he hates them on every broadcast.
No, that'll never happen. You'll never get that.
Okay, got it.
Let's see. Daniel says that JP has hair, Beardy no longer has a beard, and Justin will live the longest.
Wow. That's some...
Negative.
That's some... wow.
That would ruin the BN.
I feel like Jay. I feel like you're sad about that one.
That you're living the longest.
Yeah, I feel like you're.
I am a little.
Yeah, a
I'm
little
already
bit, right?
sad that Tacey is trying to trump me on the death pool. I don't like it. I feel like it's the one thing I was winning at in life.
Said the big T
is
word.
dying.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what do you have?
I don't know what.
Gregory, ARY, says, Y-Doc is really no longer allowed on the show.
I don't know what that is.
Why Doc
Why
is
Doc?
not allowed on the show.
That's
why you say it like it's a
Y-Doc.
one word. Y-Doc.
Y-Doc.
I was like, what's
Y-Doc.
Y-Doc?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
WikiLeaks
so
thing.
Y-Doc not is no longer allowed on the show. Okay. Yep.
And then lastly, Matt says, simple, JP's shirt collection.
Oh, right.
My shirts are great, dude.
That'll dox us.
Well, I mean,
shirts are great.
There's been times.
they are when they're not racist.
Look, you projected that onto it. You made that into reality.
I don't think I made that into reality.
Look, I've worn it to a lot of...
Since then?
Oh, geez.
No, I haven't touched it since then because I feel uncomfortable about it. But sometimes I look at it in my drawer and I go, it's fine. Nobody will ever know.
Were you ever around a black person before?
Yes.
In all those times
Well,
you were.
only
Besides
Terrence. That's the only one that I know.
And it does boggle my mind
the
that
only
Terrence.
one that I know.
It's the only one that I see on a regular basis.
He makes the only one.
The only one.
It's the only one part of the phrase that's bad.
Right.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
that's the.
The only, but you know what I mean. The only.
Yes, we do.
All right, great.
Oh my God.
Well, for the record, JP's shirt today is just pink dinosaurist.
Right.
That's
It's
Reptar.
Reptar, yeah, from
Yeah.
Rugrats.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
We're
Not racist at all.
It's reptile.
Yeah.
Thank you.
centric.
It's not offensive in any way.
No.
We're totally
unless
getting doxxed.
unless you're a reptile.
Yeah.
I guess.
If you're Hillary Clinton and you're a lizard person, this might be offensive for you. But
I mean, even knowing Terrence, even as well white as Terrence really is, it does boggle my mind if you wore it in front of him and he never had the courtesy to let you know.
that's what I'm saying. And
He
so
texted that night though, and he was
Yeah.
like,
He
"Yeah,
did.
that's racist."
Well,
That's what I'm
sort
saying.
of.
I don't think
I
it
had to
wasn't that he
ask
didn't
him
know. I
first.
think he didn't have the courtesy.
No, his reason was he never thought JP would wear it outside of his house.
Oh, he did say that.
well, right, but still.
He did say
So
You still might mention, like, hey, I just want to make sure you never wear this out of your house.
This is the problem I have with Terrence.
Yeah.
Is that I feel like he's never honest.
Right.
And I feel like he doesn't want to offend anybody.
About anything.
Yeah. So, but then you're just not being honest with the
with your friend
Right.
who's about to walk out
and get shanked.
Well, I don't think there's a straight man that only has a shirt for inside his house. Like I've never met that.
Right? No, I definitely don't. I don't. And look, and I've worn that shirt to the Walmart in Antioch.
Okay.
Find me a more inappropriate place to wear. Nobody said anything.
Yeah.
It's just a Maroon 5. It's because. But now that you put it out in the universe, now you're questioning me. Now I have performance anxiety, and now I can't wear it.
Well, you have shirt performance anxiety.
A good part of my life away from me.
Do you think he has a calendar marking down what he wore? How does he know he only wore that one day and he went to the?
I don't know.
Walmart
It's just
in
because
Antioch?
I know stuff. I mean,
Because
I'm
he
smart.
knows it was racist.
Right.
That's
It's
right.
either guilt
Well,
or he's
because
very organized.
unlike you, I know what's on my shirt. You just put on a shirt. It doesn't matter.
Well, no. In his defense, nobody knows what's on his shirt.
Right. That's what
I
I'm saying.
see.
That's my point,
They're all
right? So
racist.
like, it's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has swastikas all
Under his beard.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Goodness.
Don't check
Warren,
He's
either.
American
knock it
History
off,
Y
dude.
right now.
Don't check it out.
He's one more worse than American History X.
All right. Well, we've got 4 to vote on here.
Okay, let's
Yes.
go.
2 of them, unfortunately for JP, are about JP.
That's all right.
The first one is, I always paraphrase, but JP loves
Yeah.
IPA off air,
Yes.
but then tells every guest and on the show he
Secret.
hates them.
Yeah.
The second one is, what was it? JP has hair,
Yes.
Beardy has no beard, and Justin lives the longest.
Yes.
I really like that one.
You like that one?
I
All right,
do.
Bevo's already cast her vote. The real reason to why Doc's not allowed on the show anymore.
Yeah.
I like that one. That one's good. And finally, JP's shirt collection. And we've got 1 vote so far.
Well,
So
you
the
guys
rest
are
of
nailing
us,
it.
the rest of us are going to have to vote here. Okay, if it's JP loves IPA off air, raise your hand.
Not that one.
No votes. No. I'm torn between the last
I
2.
honestly am also.
If it's why Doc is not allowed on the show.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think that's better.
Uh-oh, that's
We're going
2.
to have a stalemate.
Which means
What did Bev vote for?
she voted for JP has hair, Beardy has no beard, and Justin lives the longest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which means that Teresa and Beardy just voted for JP's shirt collection.
Does Bev still get 2 votes?
Yes.
Because she has
All
to
right.
revote now between the 2.
Yeah, she's the tiebreaker.
Now you got it.
Oh, God.
Well, there you go. There you go,
And
Bev.
then
Your
it's
work is not
definitely
done.
JP's shirts.
What?
JP.
Oh!
Wow.
Good
Says
job,
the-
Matt.
All right, JP shirt collection is our winner for how the BN gets doxed.
Just grinds my gears, man.
You should have done the Twitter game.
Next week, it's your turn.
Turn.
Unless he doesn't go to Russian River.
Unless you don't go to Russian
Well,
River.
apparently, I mean, I need to figure out how to get there first. I probably can't go, to be honest with you.
Right. I mean, let's be real.
Well, I mean, because it started at 6
Yeah. In Windsor.
in Windsor. So what is that, an hour and a half?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Taryn can get off work early, then I can go. But if not, I can't go.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll let you know.
You let us know.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you texted me when you said you didn't want to go.
Maybe.
All right, I want
What do
some
you want
pizza.
from me?
It's time to go.
Yeah, I got to go. This place is going to close.
All right, thanks to Solid Ground Brewing Company, and we'll see you next week. JP, get us out of here if you would, please.
All right, get out of here. Yeah. You get out of here. Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Solid Ground Brewing joined us in the studio to talk beer, wine, and wine. Check them out at solidgroundbrewing.com. Merge your love of Disneyland with your lack of engaging podcasts. Go to earsuppodcast.com as JP, Terrence, Bevo, and Taryn talk about all things Disney. Get on Twitter for some good beer insight and homebrew info, and follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew, Mike McDowell at Tasty McD. Warren is stuck over at Another Beardy. JP knows Twitter is dead, so he's on Instagram at Major Jip, and you can find Bevo there as well at Beverly M. Moore. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.